As I suspected, 32 flavors.
Good morning, good evening, come one, come all. How are you guys tonight? Christian Delorme coming in hot already, wasting no time. Good evening, home before the show starts. And I see a hello from Darth Scipio. Hello to you, sir. D. Bud Martin, hail to you, my friend, as always. It's good to see all you guys here in the chat. Nice to see the usual suspects. DJ B2, hi. Hi to you. Nice to see you guys. Welcome to Friday Night Comic Shop Talk on the 34th episode. It is awesome that once again, I love the number increase. For me, it's like maybe it's like the comic book fan in me. It's like it feels good. Like I'm going up the numbers, climbing up the ladder, and it's like it just feels like it's like every episode is like its own issue or its own story. We continue to tell the story as each episode goes on. So I love the escalating numbers, and I love the consistent faces that show up and listen with us in the chat and the people who join us, whether it's on a sometimes basis or a full times basis. It's just awesome. Tonight we're gonna we'll talk about some of the better things that came on 2021 because no matter how much goes wrong in the world, there's always something good that still comes out, whether it's from some indie company or from CG. It's gonna be we're gonna go a little 2021 overview. I might even show off a few solicitations for a few select DCs that might have my interest come March 2022, maybe. And yeah, and then we'll just have Freddy Farad after that. And I got Zillionaire Nick. Dude Lebowski. Hey, what's up, big dude? How are you guys? Sorry, hold on, guys. All right. Anyways, I'm gonna bring in my guys here. I'm gonna bring in first and foremost the Clavering Time Man.
What's up, buddy? Thanks for having
This
me.
is what's up.
What do we got? What we got, you?
I swear, when I told you like before we went live, I'm gonna use the bathroom before we start, and then no joke, the pizza arrives.
Pizza.
No joke, the pizza arrives. I'm like,
Good.
I swear that was not supposed to happen. The pizza was actually supposed to take longer to come here, but go figure. I guess it was just meant to be right on time for the comic shop panel. So yeah, no, hey, glad you can come on here and we'll talk some stuff and maybe who knows, maybe we might convince you to check out at least one thing coming out of this. We'll see. I think that should be a fun challenge.
Well, look, dude, if you're hungry, man, we can vamp for you. Go ahead and take a bite. We can,
I'll be talking. No,
well, what's good, man?
Oh, well, what's good? Surprisingly, Spider-Man was. I didn't think I would like it. Like considering half a year ago, I just didn't like have any particular interest in it. And coming out of the theater, like how sometimes you get like a last minute feeling, whether it's a good one or a bad one. Like something tells me about it's gonna be good, or something tells me about it's gonna be bad, and someone ends up being that. It was one of those moments where I had this really random last minute feeling. I felt good. I'm like, no, I think something about this tells me this is gonna be it. And lo and behold, I felt that way, and I was like, holy crap, I was right.
Yeah,
And it felt good.
I liked it a lot too. I think I had a lot of problems with it. I have to.
I have my issues too.
I'm at war with myself over some of the things I didn't like in it, but overall, I guess I say I love it in some ways. And yeah, it was great. It was my complaints are we'll do that. I'll do that Sunday night, I guess. But I don't know if you want. I don't know if you're spoiling tonight or not. But
no, I mean we might talk about it briefly. We might. I'm still kind of thinking about it. I know a lot of for a lot of the listeners, it's kind of like they're going to every stream and hearing about it, and maybe we'll get to it. Maybe towards the end when we actually kind of get away from it for a bit. But don't get me wrong, it's been good to talk about it. It has been because I was on the throwdown last night with Comics Division, and it was awesome to have a conversation where our nitpicks were like actual genuine nitpicks. So that felt good to have discussion and discourse over small nitpicks that only of course geeks should be having, and that's fine. That's what we should be having.
Yes.
It felt so good to have that conversation yesterday. It felt amazing. The chat was relieved about it too. It felt nice, and I'm hoping Sunday I can join you. I'm hoping so.
You're welcome.
Fingers crossed. So
you're welcome to be there, man. But if you can't, look, it's always casual. But brother, if you can, we'll love to have you.
All right.
Hey there out there. Hello, Kristen and Darth and all you wonderful folks in Nick's chat.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to answer this for Dart Scipio. Yes, they are showing, and I don't agree with them. I'm not going to go with the slice by count. Did I really, really, really enjoy it? Yes, I absolutely did. And I will watch it again in theaters again, too. I did. I genuinely feel like it was an awesome flick. And I have my minor nitpicks, but those are what is kind of supposed to come with the territory of being a guy of my stature along with the other gentlemen I have on this bout. That's just par for the course. And that's what we're supposed to do. It's kind of like it's in our nature. I mean, Clobberin will probably agree. It's in our nature. We're always going to have our little things, right? If only they did this a little different. It's in our nature. I mean, tell me I'm wrong, Clobby.
Look, I will. Well, one thing I can tell you is I can speak to what Darth just said. I don't know if anyone's shilling it. They're giving there's a lot of honest love for this film. To give you an example that only Just Joe 47 will get, because he's the only one that knows this gentleman I'm about to speak of. I did not like the first two Tom Holland films at all for various reasons, but I have a friend of mine who used to do my show with me for about 10 years, who still shows up once in a while, my good buddy Flash, who hates them more than really hates them. And he's a weirdo. He likes the Garfield Spidey's his favorite, which is weird. Some people like him. Well, he just sent me something. Jobber, Just Joe, he loved it. He loved this thing.
Wow.
And that Jobber who knows him will go. He'll be probably just gobsmacked to know that Flash loved this movie, and I liked it a lot as well. I just have some criticisms, but I like it.
Yeah, I'm hoping Sunday. I want to join you on Sunday. So fingers crossed I can, because I'm sure we'll have if I join, it'll be a great conversation. If not, I'll be listening in. Of course, I'll be listening in. And Clobby suffered through the rest of the Eternals.
Yeah, buddy. So did you, and so did a few. Yeah,
we did. J-Man. What's up, J-Man?
Yep, Just Joe knows Flash.
Oh, man. All right. Well, before we even consider getting the Spider-Man talk and bringing our other guys, a man who's been with you since day one, Mr. Pablo of Geek Tropology and Midnight's Edge Espanol.
Pablo.
Howdy ho!
That one hurt.
It's almost Christmas, everyone!
That was painful. I like it.
Someone needs to clip that. It was painful. I like it.
I like that he can inflict pain on us with his voice. He's like Black Canary.
Oh, sorry. I'm using a new... those consoles that actually do equalization and everything on the microphone?
Reverb.
And I think I need to check if my tone is right for Mr. Hanky.
You did good, buddy.
Yeah, and Just Joe, if we do cover it tonight, it won't be something that'll be a dominant topic, and if we do, we'll keep it non-spoiler. So that's just in case we do talk about it. Like I said, I'm still kind of up in the air because I already have set topics, just so we can just have a little temporary break from it. That's all. Just so, because there are people who do have lives and they don't have the fortunacy of seeing it right away, that are spoil sensitive, and to be fair, rightfully so. I get it. I get where that comes from, because I'm one of you guys, and I'm lucky I was in a position in my life where I could see it right away. But I remember what it was like to not be in that position, so I haven't forgotten, and I will not forget about you guys in the chat who are gonna not want to hear that conversation. I get it, especially in the internet age when people are throwing things in the headlines, which is bullshit. You're not gonna get that here. Your secrets are 100% safe with me. Not 99, but 100. So you got my word on that. And I say good evening to the lovely Sherry as well.
Oh, the lovely Sherry.
How are you, Sherry? Nice to see you here. Just and that's great that you're cool, but I'm still not going to do it. I've already told people, I promise I'm not going to be that guy. So I'd rather just be consistent and stick to my word. Brecko, and between kids and food. Glad, yeah, dude. I'm glad, but we got to bring in our other guys here. They've been waiting ever so patiently. I'm bringing the Ice Wolf from another realm, Mr. Fenrir.
Hi,
Hello,
buddy.
gentlemen.
What's up, man?
How are you?
I'm doing okay. After joining a gym, your muscles start killing you. So to pay back for it, I'm watching a bunch of old comedies. Just finished Airplane and Airplane 2, and I gotta say, Leslie Nielsen is the greatest comedy actor of all time.
Oh yeah.
He's
I'm gonna
amazing.
start watching the Naked Gun series right now, first time.
Dude, I
Naked Gun is
remember track down
amazing.
Police Squad, buddy.
I know. I'm gonna look for Police Squad first.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, it's easy. You know where to search it if you want to, you know. You know. There's
Yeah,
a
I do.
magnet in the mix.
All right.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do. But seriously, the man, he deserves more. Thank God he didn't live long enough to see this generation of laughless morons.
Yeah,
He was-
right. For
He
real.
he was hilarious. Look at me.
DJ B2 Naked Going's great. All right, we're gonna bring in our two remaining gentlemen real quick. So, and I see Raquel SSJ. Hey, great talking to you last night after the No Way Home thing. Thank you for coming on. That was like what 3 a.m. I appreciate that. Super awesome.
You were on last night, dude?
I went. Here's what happened. I did the Thursday night throwdown, and then after that, I did a quick 4-minute non-spoiler video, and then I did a spoiler review stream. I started around 3 a.m. It went to like 4:30 last night,
man.
and I was in a lucky position where I had Friday off from the workplace today, so it worked out that I was able to do that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do a spoiler stream. And she came on. Eagle Rider came on, aka Rose, and Mr. Gregory came on as well. And we,
Cool.
Grant and I were talking about it. And it's funny because we agreed on so much, but there's some things where we're being geeks, just discoursing on and disagreeing with each other. I felt great to have that. I don't know about that. It felt good. It felt like I was being in a comic shop having that disagreement. It felt awesome. I was just like, man, I miss this feeling. So
I
this
miss
movie
it.
brings back a lot of those old memories of the nitpicks in that way. So thank you, No Way Home, and thank you, Sony, for having us have discussions that we should be having. Thank you. Seriously, thank you. So, all right,
Yep.
we're bringing our other boys. Mr. Lord Thoth, the Egyptian god. What's
Hey.
up, dude?
Hey, there's my favorite Egyptian Canadian Mountie. Yeah, that is a
Gentlemen.
weird mix.
Everyone's
Gentlemen,
favorite.
how's she going, eh?
What's up, man?
You
Oh, it's good. Sorry I missed you
Well,
last
buddy.
week. I thought
Well,
we were
buddy,
skipping
me
a
and-
week.
Hold
And
on,
then
hold
I
on.
found
Me
out.
and the other guys here.
Go ahead,
Thoth.
Fenrir. Fenrir first.
Oh, I turned off his mic.
I'm
Well,
sorry
you
I
turned-
missed you guys all last week. It was a good time, and I came in about an hour late and went, oh, I thought we were skipping a week. So it's good to be back. I love talking about comic books, pop culture, all the good stuff. And Fava Flavs, you're a great host, and Clobby, Pablo, Fenrir. It's an honor to be amongst such high, lofty individuals as you.
These guys,
Nick keeps muting me because he knows I'm going to say racist stuff against Canadians.
Well, blame Canada, right?
So
Exactly.
So
You
Canadian is,
one-roaded bastards.
Canadian is a race now.
Okay.
Apparently,
I think we
it's
are.
always been. It's always been.
All right, guys. We got to do something for the patriarchy really quick. So if you'll just excuse me while I do this, I think you guys will totally understand. Christian DeLorme for $1 says, for you, Fenrir. Thank you, Christian, for the $1.
But seriously, you guys in Canada should learn how to relax, buddy.
We do. That's why we're alcoholics. And that's why we have the best marijuana in the world, man. Come on.
Well, now that
yeah.
I'm not growing it, yeah, I think you do.
Oh, this is great. Off to a great start already. I love it.
I was going to say, for a buck, you should only you should have given him a tease. Just have Thanos almost punch her, and then say, for another buck, I'll give you the rest.
Man, this clip is even better now. After No Way Home, this clip is really just better.
Right? No, it feels like we got like an early gift. It really does, Pablo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I agree. It
so
feels
is it
like we
really
actually
as
got
good
a
as people
gift.
are saying?
Well, hey, here's put this way. I'm not gonna speak for everyone, but I'm gonna speak on my opinion on my behalf. But don't be that guy who soars their expectations to unrealistic expectations. I say go in with, in my opinion, modest expectations. Just hope for a good movie. Don't reduce it to, oh well, it's not woke, so it's not good. Just say, is this movie good? And think about continuity and think about the past and how it honors it, and then go in with those type of expectations, and hopefully from there you'll be able to enjoy or even not enjoy the movie based off of those merits, because I feel like those are the proper ways of judging the movie. So that's
Yeah.
my opinion. If the other guys feel
Yes.
different, then they can tell me otherwise. I
You
mean, do
know,
anyone want to object on that, Clubby
No,
or
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay.
yeah.
It's
This
All
is
right
not a
then. All right.
this is not an objection. It's more like I don't want to spoil, but I want to explain something. Sony has learned from all the mistakes on Spider-Man history to this date. And I mean everything from One More Day to the crap on Clone Saga to everything that happened on the movies. And in this movie, they told us, yes, we know. And we accept that. And we are trying to do something with that is better than.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just that they knew they were self-conscious to the level to know where they fucked up on Spider-Man history
They've
and
turned
try.
it around.
Yeah, exactly. They took those moments and
Mm-hmm.
showed you something. For example, One More Day, they know about. Ah, damn! I don't want to spoil it.
No, hey,
Yeah,
maybe
no,
we
yeah,
might save it for the
just
end. We
yeah.
might save it for
Okay.
the
You know
end.
what?
Okay,
You know what? Save it for the end. If they stick around till then, that means they want to be spoiled.
yeah.
Maybe.
Did
Anyways,
you want to bring Ironcaster in,
that's
man?
exactly what I'm going to do. A man who is of great contribution to the Friday Night Comic Shop talk. He is the Ironcaster who is already drinking as he should be. What's up, Ironcaster?
Nice.
Hey, I'm just here for the holidays. You know,
If you
because
always need information on Gundam, he always knows what he needs to say.
I mean, we're not gonna be able to be here for the next couple of weeks, so I wanted to get in all the holiday festivities that I could. So I want to get the holiday sweater on, and you know, I wore my Geeks and Gamers hoodie to the movies today. So I saw you have your
Nice,
T-shirt on, and
nice.
I was like, hey,
Ah man, a Star Wars shirt. It almost reminds me of that Christmas
no,
special.
Hey,
Star
I was
Wars
Especially
wearing the shirt
Christmas
Christmas.
for the
sweater.
movie.
Ooh.
Yeah, but
Nice,
yeah, but
Pablo.
what's the Star Wars sweater plus the hat? It reminds me of the special.
You mean look, as I always say, if you can get past the bad part of the holiday special, it's okay.
Mhm.
It's fun.
Mhm. All right.
Wookie old man watching porn on the middle of the
Yeah, the
living
porn was
room.
the worst part.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay.
You're saying it's a good part? Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
All right, we're gonna go into a little conversation on comic stuff. Obviously, Clawby probably won't have much to contribute on this topic, but who knows? Maybe
No.
one of us might have information that might convince him to check out one of these particular things. And I'll
mean,
start off with maybe he might have something to recommend. So, Fenrir, what would you recommend to the chat or Clobbering or just anyone in general? Was some good that came out this year that you could recommend comic wise?
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This entire year, the mainstream generation of comic books was nothing more than an endless ocean of fiery trash. So out of that, not much. The only things that actually tickled my fancy were both either The Last Ronin or Superman 78. Even though the new Batman comic based around the old movie with the whatever his name was is shit. So yeah, there's only two things that I care about.
Hold on. Oh my god, I know who you are. Melanated brother, it's Mr. Webb. Mr. Webb, how are you, sir? He'll know this reference. He used to call me a certain something name in middle school. This is a middle school friend of mine, guys, so forgive me. I know exactly who
Yeah,
this
the
guy
left.
is. This is a good man, very good man. I think we did a few school projects together. How are you, dude? It's crazy to see you in here. Wow, that's really surreal. All
Glad
right,
to be back.
Fender. Yeah, no, I seriously, I've known this guy since like 2001. So this kind of took me off guard. Of course, he caught me while I'm eating pizza. Some things never change. So nice to see you, Mr. Webb. But go on, Fender.
Yeah, well, as I was saying, it's all crap. They've pretty much killed every character we know of today. So I just suggest people stick with the old stuff because all they can do now is not write stories. Just say, let's just make a character gay or just make it into a woman or just race swap. So just stick to the old stuff. And
All
maybe
right.
some of the only two things of today that I suggest: Last Ronin and Superman 78. And for the Last Ronin, you guys can go check out the old videos Nick does. We've all spoken about them there. You can go check it out. And Superman 78, I think I'm the only one here who's up to date on that comic book. The rest are just waiting to read it when it's all finished.
Nope, I'm up to date. That and Batman too.
Ah,
Oh, look at
okay
that.
then.
The man has
I'm not alone
spoken.
here. I'm not alone here. But
All
quick
right.
question: what do you thought about the most recent issue, the last one?
What do I
Go
think
ahead and
about
answer
it?
it. Yeah, talk about it.
Yeah, what did you talk about it?
Um, I'm not sure. I kind of enjoyed the first couple issues, but
It feels
I
like it's
think
trying to go in too many places now. Instead of
you
just
read my
going straight
mind.
to the
I feel
story.
the exact same way. I think that they really would have been better just sticking to a singular story. I like the reintroduction kind of the Luthor plot, and I like the world from Superman post 1978, the movie, because that's the best comic movie of all time, right? Superman 1978.
Exactly.
And so the comic
Just the
book,
thing.
I think really what they needed to do is just stay. I hate to say normal, but stay within a very conservative plot line, and then I
So just stick with Brainiac. Should just stick.
yeah, right, because I
Because
love
we're
that
getting all
plot
this
line.
stuff. We're getting Jor-El, the
Yeah,
crypt, the city of Kandor, freaking Hawkman in the background. Just give us one thing. Then you
I
can
think you're.
build up into all of this.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they needed to pick a plot. I think I like the Brainiac plot line, especially the first issue, because it really, because I normally I'm a 4-issue guy, but in a miniseries I'm like, well, your first 2 issues you got to really catch me, and they kind of did. That's why I've gotten the last couple. I think if you stick with the Brainiac storyline, you bring some little extraneous minor characters in. That's cool, but when you start doing some member berries and jingling keys, like Gary likes to say, then it starts to really kind of pull me away, because it's only is it 6 issues? 5 or 6?
It's around
6,
6 issues now.
6, I think,
It's
right?
around 6 now.
So I just think there's a lot of story to tell in the last couple of issues that I think that if they had stayed tight, told a cohesive story, then it might have been better. I'm still going to recommend it. I think it's for those who like that character
It
from
is.
that
It
era.
is the
It's a good
best
story.
modern Superman book today.
Yeah, absolutely. So that, and I think the Superman one is better than the Batman one by
Exactly. It is.
yeah, head and shoulders.
Did a lot of race
All
swapping
right.
there. But I gotta say, I gotta ask, I'm not the only one feeling like Jor-El's gonna end up being evil, right? Because just the way he acts and speaks, it's giving me those vibes.
Well, he's the patriarchy, right? He's the bad dad.
Well,
Yeah, I'm getting those vibes.
there is an argument for the Superman 2 Jor-El, but I don't know. I don't know if you can pull that off on that universe, because you need to do something like the CW did, something like is a artificial intelligence in a crystal and it's not the real person but the essence, or something like that, and it gets corrupted.
Yeah.
I don't know if in the Superman the movie universe that can be pulled off.
I don't think it could either.
Well, in 2021, it can't be that kind of storyline.
No, absolutely not.
You're never gonna get a classic comic book story in this, because
I'm gonna say Superman and Lois is the only 2021 good show that there is, and I'm still worried about season 2.
Yeah, you're to finish off my thought. You're going to imbue that storyline with a lot of politics and agenda in today's society. You just got to get right back to comic book movies. That Lois and Superman storyline is not bad. I still have issues with them having 2 kids and being that happy family.
Yeah.
Because Superman and Lois has never been that for me. But I grew up in a different era of Superman. I grew up in the classic Bronze Silver Age Superman, where there was no kids involved. Now,
Yes.
do I enjoy the story? Yes. And you'd have to strap me down and torture me to say yes to that. But have I watched it? Yes. Has there been some great plot points? Yes. Is it the normal CW fare where it's crying in hallways and everybody's, oh, you were the bestest ever? That's really not what we're getting out of the show. So right off the bat, it's head and shoulders over every single other CW superhero show. Yeah, it's good. Is it great? No. Is it staying true to the Superman mythos? No. It's very much a post 2010 Superman story, which is fine because if you want to bring in new fans, look, I get it. But yeah, I'm still stuck in the Bronze and Silver Age of Superman.
Me too, buddy.
The best age, my friend.
Yeah, right.
What a terrible problem to have. I mean, that's like, well, yeah, that's Superman is that era so much.
Yeah.
You know, there's a line that Jor-El says when he's about to transform Superman into a mere mortal, that you can take as he actually thinks of himself as a god. But then again, he kinda is, or at least Superman is to humanity, because he's with that level of power almost a god. So having that restraint and that self-consciousness that you have that power is kinda okay on your L. I'm just thinking that they can use that to make him evil, but it's a stretch, a real stretch.
I will
Yeah,
say
I'm
one
tired of
thing.
the evil Superman trope.
I will say one thing about the TV show. I really love the interaction with the actress who plays Lana Long, who was for a moment Superman's mom, and it was, Lara. That's a very non-approached character within the Superman mythos. His mother is really a symbol of who he is. His dad was the scientist and the intellectual. His mom was really his heart and soul before he got sent to Earth, right? And obviously, genetics plays an important part in Superman, not just upbringing. So you're looking at genetics versus the upbringing. That's
Also
a whole
the
theory of child rearing, right? So I think
Look, I
that
still
it was.
say Ma and Pa Kent had a great movement on who Clark became.
Yeah, but before, if you're talking about the Superman the movie universe, he also went into the capsule with recordings of
Yes.
his parents telling him things like morals. Jor-El
Yes.
told him about physics, about all these concepts. So
But his mom was the feelings. So what I loved about it's funny because one of my most memorable scenes in that first season of the new Superman show was when the actress playing Lana Long was his mom, and he got a chance to talk to her, and she said, "You're everything I could have ever wished for. You are my son. I love you." Blah blah blah, and it was a touching moment that we never really get to see in the Superman mythos, where he got a chance to talk to his mother, even though it was Lana Long, right? And the character, I mean, not the actress. So I like that because from being raised by my father, I didn't have a mother growing up. So it was a touching moment for me to see a situation where he lost both his parents and he had to grow up with adopted parents. And yet both sets of parents really had that example to show him. And so the show has really done some really good things. and that brings me back to season 2. I'll watch it. Is it Superman? I have some issues with that, but really, is any show going to be Superman? It's really, you have to take the 21st century ideology and push it into your shows now. But I still have the comic books if I really need to go back and read those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To find a real, completely accurate
All right.
Superman version
All
is rare nowadays.
All right. Well, now that I let you boys have at it with that, I want to hear what Mr. Lord Thoth has to talk about from the indie side of comic shopping. What have you been into this year that you've been liking?
Oh wow, that is a great question.
I know you got an answer.
I do have lots of answers.
Well, hey,
do you want me to limit it?
The first 2 things that come to mind, whether it's some that started this year or some that's been ongoing throughout this year. What's
Ronan was mentioned.
Of course. Well, and we could, of course, talk about the last Ronin, of course.
That was great.
Oh, yes.
You know, I've actually been enjoying the Orville comic book.
It's going great.
You tell.
Yeah.
I've been
Wait, the
actually
first one or the
enjoying
second
it.
one?
Of all of them.
Yeah.
The first one was better than the second, but I liked them both.
Mm-hmm. Go on,
It
Thoth.
just feels so Star Trek.
Wasn't the second book about basically like a Zorro sort of character that they were doing?
Yeah. They did a little bit. Go ahead. Sorry.
Wait, did I miss one? I don't remember that one.
I don't
been
think you
3.
had any books, Fenrir. You just kind of went on and ranted.
Yeah, they did New Beginnings, Launch Day, and Artifacts. They did so. Really, what the storyline's about is a time travel episode that involves the crew getting stuck back in time and changing their future, so that our intrepid first officer, and boy, is she ever gorgeous, by the way. Anyway, so what happens is they find out that some of the things that happened in their past they want to change.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is they change it, and then it does. Of course, in typical Star Trek fashion, the future is changed for the worse. So when they figure it out, they try to change the past. So they go back again, and of course they screw things up because it's the Orville. And that's kind of what I love about it. So the comic book really reflected, without spoiling it for people who are going to pick it up. It's only a couple of bucks too, by the way. And I think Dark Horse Digital Comics actually has it for like $1 or if you wait for like Boxing Day sales, I'm sure you'll probably get it cheaper, but they have it. You can read it digitally. Me, I'm a floppy guy. I like reading it. It's got to be the tactile feeling of reading a comic book and smelling the comic ink, and that's all a part of it. But if you want to read it, it's pretty cool. It's a great storyline without spoiling it. There's a whole bunch of stuff that really gets involved in season 2. It's kind of a branch to whether or not they're going to do it for season 3. It's kind of like a 2.5. The storyline is fun. The characters are well done. It really, really, really made me want to see new episodes of the Orville. I love the show with Discovery, pissing all over the memory of Star Trek, and it's just an awful, awful show. And this season is no better. I think that really it's Star Trek, the Orville is kind of what I'm kind of looking at it right now. So yeah, I'd recommend. It's funny because I wasn't actually even going to bring up that comic book. That's one of the ones I'd recommend.
Nice.
I've also been reading. I'm a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan, so I've been reading that comic book. It's been kind of all over the place. I'm more of an Angel follower than a Buffy follower because I love the Angel show. That's been fun. What else?
All right, I got 2 questions I want to ask you about the Orville book. First,
fire away.
What publisher is it on, and how often is it
Dark Horse
coming out? Dark Horse. How frequently is it? Is it monthly? Is it like quarterly? What's the release schedule looking like for this book?
No, it's not been monthly, and that's been part of the problem. I think that, and they only do it in like 2 or 3 parts. So each of the chapters have been only a couple of parts each, and it's been intermittent. I'd say probably every 2 or 3 months.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. No. Hey, honestly, it sounds like when it comes out, it's like, okay, there's a bit of a wait, but when it does arrive, it sounds like it's worth it. Tell me, is that the vibe that I'm getting
Oh
from
yeah,
you?
oh yeah.
It goes to the top of my list.
Oh,
So I have my stack,
wow.
which is
Okay.
like 2 stacks and a long box full of comic books because I'm so behind in reading my comics. But
Mhm.
whenever that one comes out, it goes right to the top of my list, and I try to read it
Mhm.
right away.
I got the
Okay.
first series, and I tried to get the second one, or they each are like a couple issues each. And the idiot comic shops I have down here won't carry it, because it's not that
Wow.
big. They don't order enough. Only for fill folders. They don't have a folder anymore, so I'm way behind on it. But what I've read of it's really good, and I love the show, so I gotta track them down.
All right, awesome. I got one last thing to ask you. Thought, do you feel like it's been good to have that as I guess you could say maybe an alternative to Star Trek? Does it feel good to have something to fall back on? So now it takes the sting a little bit off Star Trek.
Yeah, it's kind of a tease. It really is.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I love the Orville. I'm a big proponent of it. I
Mhm.
will right up there with the Expanse for me, especially the first 3 seasons of the Expanse.
Mhm.
So I I wish it could come out every month, but I think the reality of comic books today are if a comic is underwhelming, and when I say that, it's not that the sales aren't really pushing for a monthly title. It's the
Mhm.
best you can do. It's really a niche market anyway because sci-fi is a niche. Then
Mhm.
like the Star Trek, Orville, Expanse kind of crowd is a niche, and then
Mhm.
comic books are even a more of a niche. So you're really getting a really small percentage of fans who would be buying
Mhm.
the comic. That's why it's not as popular as it could be. But the
Yeah.
comic is being well written. It's David Goodman, if I remember correctly, is the writer. He's been doing some good stuff. Uh, it's the art is good. It's not great, but it's good. It's a great story. It's a fun story, and it kind of wants me to watch the Orville. I think another thing that's really been detrimental to the sales is it's been what 2 or 3 years since we've seen a season of the Orville. That's really hard on a title on any kind of a storyline. It's going to be tough on them.
But at the same time, I feel like just being able to get that at the time being is at the very least helpful because you're getting at the very least something just to help buy the
Yeah,
time
plus
over.
the fans
So
are super hungry for more of the Orville.
exactly.
Exactly. That's why I'm picking it up.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And I haven't
Wow.
been disappointed. I haven't been disappointed. So I know how it's not a 10, but I'd give it a 7. I'd give it a 7
Yeah,
storyline.
yeah. I get it. The Orville is
All
more
right.
Star Trek than actual Star Trek.
All
Absolutely.
right.
Sad that McFarlane was rejected because people thought he would make it into a comedy.
Thoth. This is gonna be this. I keep asking questions, and forgive me. It's just you've really sparked my curiosity with this, and this is why I kind of feel kind of guilty. I've not ever watched Star Trek. It's just like, do I just jump into the Orville not knowing Star Trek? It almost feels like a guilty move. Like am I reaching around saying, hey, well, there's all this lore of Star Trek, but there's this newer property called the Orville that I could just jump into and get through and be done and be up to speed much quicker. But at the same time, it's nice to explore like years of lore, aka something like Star Trek that is so rich and filled with all this content that I obviously people like Claudia and Raquel talk about on Saturday night. Like, is there? Do you feel like it's something that you should know Star Trek to read it, or is it? Do you feel like it's easy to jump on and just go for it? As a sci-fi project.
Wow, what a great question. That is a great
It is a
question.
good question.
I think that you do not need to know anything about Star Trek to watch this show. I think you need to have at least a passing knowledge of the Orville to read the comic book.
Okay.
The show, if you haven't watched the show yet, man, you've got to do yourself some justice here and sit down and just binge at least the first season.
Okay.
It's just outstanding. The acting is great. The comedy is great. The science fiction stories are great.
Mhm.
It's really what we've been missing out of Star Trek since 2000 well, really since 2005, probably.
Yeah,
What
I was
service is it
Yep.
in?
Yes, sir.
And yeah, it's a great,
Indeed.
great sci-fi property that I think is really underappreciated.
Hey,
All
what
right,
service
awesome.
is it in? Where do I watch it?
That's
Oh,
a
I
good,
I
is
got
it
a
on
place.
What's
Hulu?
that? What Hulu has it?
I got a
And there, I
place you
think-
can watch it for free, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
trust me,
that would of course be.
if
But you
there's a
gotta be
legal
ready.
way-
It might not be 100% legal.
And the next
Oh.
season's made for Hulu, by the way.
I think
Okay,
Hulu has it
Hulu-
right now. First run, first cut, you can get it. The new season's
Okay.
coming out hopefully by March. I've heard
Mhm.
March, but we'll see. I'm hoping it comes out in the next few months. But yeah, Hulu has it. The last I could tell.
Okay.
If you don't have Hulu,
I do have Hulu.
oh,
Yes.
there you go. Put
Hulu
those
has
out
it.
in there in the chat. I'm not sure.
Oh, But-
Again, no need to
it
waste
was-
money on new Hulu. I
Its
got a
first
good
two-
place.
its first two seasons were made for Fox, and they put them out on DVD, not Blu-ray. And now it's made exclusively for Hulu. The third season,
All right.
which we're getting in March.
All right, cool. Well, I have plenty of time now. I'm really strongly considering that. So, hey, thank you for your insight. I'm actually really convinced. I might actually have to do this. Like, this actually sounds like I have the time to take this dive and see if I like it. If I do, go all the way with it. So I'm thankful for your contributions on not only of a show but also a comic to check out. It sounds like when it comes out, it's worth the wait. So at the very least, you got my attention. So for me, obviously, well done. You got me, dude. So all right,
Yeah,
before
Kindle and Comixology has the
Okay.
comics.
Okay.
It's a dark horse. Look it up. And the TV show Hulu, I'm sure there's other places too that have it. Matey. And I think that you just need to sit down and enjoy it, and that's what's going to be the fun part of it.
The sad, easy but sad thing is there are only 12 episodes in each season, if you call that a season. So there are two seasons. And now those of us who do love the show, have been waiting since 2000, pretty much 18 for the third season, which we're getting in March.
Mhm.
So if you watch it soon, you'll be just in time not to have to suffer so long for the third season. Should you enjoy the first?
Oh man,
I might have that. I see it now. See if I enjoy it. Yeah, that does work to my advantage.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
I have just been burned by something similar. I have been watching One Piece. The issue is that I am caught up with the series, and they are just when it's getting started on the final arc of this history. But I'm so blue balled by the story because it's each week, and then you have to wait, and there's an hiatus here and there, and I might see the end of this in 2 years. So, god damn it.
All right.
Yeah, that's One Piece for you.
Before we carry on, we gotta do our traditional patriarchal clip. Christian Delorme for whoa,
What was it?
guys. Christian Delorme, you are insane. Oh my god, dude! When you come to Chicago, and that you better, I'm buying you the biggest, most gluten-filled pizza ever.
How much did he
Guys.
give you, dude?
Christian Delorme
$3.
coming in red hot for $50.
Nice.
Whoa!
Wow.
Merry
Damn.
Christmas. It says Merry Christmas, Nick. Merry Christmas. Thanks for doing these twice a week. Have a great holiday, and I'll catch you boys next year. Cheers, dude. Hey, cheers to you. Merry Christmas. This is an honor, and I am not worthy of $50. I mean, God, you are insane, but thank you. That is awesome. Cheers to you, my friend. Pizza and drinks are on me when you and I cross paths. It's gonna be freaking good. It's gonna be the best. Oh my God! Wow, sorry. That just I thought I was gonna my heart was gonna stop. So
You better get extra gluten, man.
Oh,
What's our cut of that, by the way? I'm just kind of curious. What's
Yeah, that's true.
You might
It's our
save the
cut.
crust for us.
We get the crust. There we go.
Yeah.
but it's
At
gonna
least
need
a bit of it.
stuffed crust. Stuffed crust.
Ooh,
Oh, it better.
Okay, you made this worth it.
that's an awesome. Thank you for your generosity. That's amazing.
Yes, that's.
But be careful
insane.
with the gluten, as they say. If you eat too much of it, your little wee wee will fly off in a rocket.
Well, man.
Have any of you gentlemen ever seen a movie called Black Dynamite?
Oh, I
Oh,
recommend
yes,
that
yes,
to
yes, yes,
D-Bud.
yes, yes.
That movie is
Anaconda malt
fantastic.
liquor.
Dynamite.
Oh,
Oh, so good.
Anaconda
Because that
malt
movie is
liquor.
that
you-
and
that movie is the
Cartoon.
embodiment of black exploitation. But even as a black man, I gotta say I love it.
So good. I love Black Dynamite. I love that movie. And you know what? Since you're already speaking, this will be our perfect segue. Pablo, I mean, I know you're talking about how you've been to One Piece, but is there anything that came out, whether it was a comic, anime? What stuck out to you this year? I know.
No way,
amidst
we could
all
have
the
used
crazy-
manga.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
And
But-
I'm using
Dude, I thought we were
No.
only sticking to Western comics because in manga I got a ton of stuff.
Well, hold on.
Dude.
D-Bud here said Nick told me about Black Dynamite. Yes, it is, D-Bud. Yes, it is. But well, we're gonna let Pablo go, and then I'll and then Ironcaster, and then I'll let you go, Fenrir. So Pablo, have at it, man. What? Obviously I know you've been into the Last Ronin a lot, but what's
Mhm.
something else besides the Last Ronin?
Something
enjoyed?
else. Well, since I have been going back a lot, I read the 80s, The Question, I read the 80s, Doctor Who, but I have been catching up with My Hero Academia. It's crazy good right now. Also, they just reintroduce a character that has huge potential in her front part. Wink, wink.
Wait, it's the American one?
Are we talking plot?
A lot of plot.
Ooh.
And she's a technician.
Technician and a lot of plot.
Oh.
There's a character that makes machines and has
She's got you
big
in.
breasts.
She's got you in her crosshairs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
I know who you're talking about.
So now that this gentleman has the image of that beautiful, beautiful girl, yeah, that manga is getting crazy good. I don't know what to tell you. If you haven't read it, or if you are not at this moment watching the anime, the fifth season was weak, but it was still good. So watch the whole series, and it's totally worth it. Well, One Piece is getting good. Blackula, man. I remember that movie. You know, blaxploitation used to be an art. And Adult Swim actually
was.
got a good handle of it.
I mean, how many of you have ever seen a show called The Boondocks?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh
Exactly.
Yeah, that
Black
show was
Dynamite
amazing.
is also from Adult Swim. So, anyway, other than that, I can really recommend you on series.
There was another
is-
one about black exploitation. Was super great. What was the name?
Wait,
Undercover Brother.
No, not that one. There was another
Oh,
one.
that one is great too.
The Holy Trinity. There was a third one.
oh
But
man,
anyway,
yeah. Anyway, and so basically, that I can recommend you those two mangas, and on the anime side, just go and watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. It is what I'm doing this Christmas, so treat yourself. Right now, there's nothing that good.
They should also watch Full Metal Alchemist as a whole too. Before, still
Well, I
good
mean,
too.
We're kind of blessed with just the backlog of content. I mean, there's so much stuff that you haven't seen in so long, it might as well be new, or you always meant to get around to watching, and you're like, yeah, I'm sure I'll watch Casablanca eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and seeing
Or-
the crap we get
okay.
today, there's a lot of incentivation to go watch the old
Okay.
stuff.
So I have an admission I think I'd like to make about a movie I've never seen.
Oh, go ahead. I'll let you have it. Go for it.
I have never seen the original Matrix.
Oh, I
let's do a
love that
let's
movie.
do a watch party,
Really?
man.
Wow.
Wow, love it. Absolutely love
Yeah.
that movie. Go
If
on.
Good movie.
oh, and just that it's I mean with the movie coming up, obviously I'm like I should probably get around to watching that.
Yep.
Does anyone else have any movies they've not seen?
Trying to
Oh,
think of what
there's a
movie did I
lot.
watch
I
for my
got
first time this year.
Or an
Well,
obvious
I'm
one
already
that
gonna see Police Squad and Naked Gun, so I got that.
All
or have you
right.
seen Police Academy?
No, no, Police Squad.
No, I know what you said. I asked if you've seen Police Academy.
No, never seen it either.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
And
7.
You,
Yes,
you know,
Academy
I got
16.
one. I got one. I got one. I lied. I got one. The movie I discovered this year that I should have known about a while ago was The Last Boy Scout. Klobby recommended
Oh.
it to me. It became a
Oh, yeah,
Toxic
cool.
Tuesday panel, and that was a great movie with Bruce Willis and
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
Damon Wayans. Like that was a very fun action movie. Very very toxic, by the way. Very toxic. So I was
gotta
very
More
get-
toxic
happy
I've
that
not
that
seen that.
was. Yeah, I was very happy to check it out. The Last Boy Scout. That was a nice flick to check out. So yeah, this was my first year ever checking that out. So that was my one like I didn't even know existed.
yeah,
So
man.
that just tells you everything, right? I didn't even know that existed. I rediscovered Speed for the first time since the
Oh, good
'90s.
movie.
I hadn't watched it since the '90s.
Yeah.
I'd seen it, but it's been a very. It was almost to a point where it was like a brand new movie again. And dude, like if it was I was pure adrenaline rush. It's a diehard type of movie where it's dominantly in one setting, but it's on a bus but the execution of it with Keanu Reeves as Lee was absolutely like it just once a great reminder of how good the times were and a great premise to how great Toxic Tuesday has become because we have seen all these gold mines of films that have come out at this point in time, whether it was the 70s or the 80s or the 90s. It was just hit after hit after hit. It was like every
Yeah.
week was a competition, and that's just such a beautiful sight to see on the cinematic level to see all these flick. Like I remember going through like the years 1990, 1989, and it's just like you would say, oh yeah, this came out this week, this came out the after week. You're like, wow, these movies were all competing each other every week. Like that's insane. It was just I can only imagine what it was like to have been alive during that time to have seen all that. To think just going to the movies is just like a natural hobby at that time. Like it was a little bit to an extent for me growing up. Like especially when I saw the first Spider-Man in 2002. I saw it opening night in theaters, Spider-Man 1. I remember seeing the opening night in 2002, May 3rd, I think that was. And yeah, that developed my habit of seeing movies all the time up until like I'd say 2007 or 8, oddly timed with when Spider-Man 3 hit in 2007. So, yeah, movies, yeah, it's just the whole gist is we had so good, and that's why Toxic Tuesday is a great reminder of that era, and hopefully we'll learn from it one day and go forward with that. But back to comics because Ironcaster, I'm glad you mentioned the Matrix. What a freaking
Man,
phenomenal, well aged movie. That flick is up there in the upper echelon of greatness. Seriously,
yeah.
up there. Great.
Uh,
I'm happy for you. Go ahead, Pablo.
Man, this year is the year where I have discovered the past in the most radical way possible. Because the other years there was so many good stuff to be watching or to just spend your time in. But now I have so much free time and I have nothing new to watch. Dune was great, but also I had the time to read the book, and the book was 10 times better. Let's not even compare them because the book has a lot of crazy stuff that you will never see on the screen because it is a lot of drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, is drugs. But also, I have been going back to One Piece, and I have been going back to the 80s Doctor Who comics, and I have been watching a lot of the original Doctor Who. And I mean, I have rewatched basically season 1, 2, and 3 of the First Doctor in a couple of weeks because I could not stop myself. And it was there, so I could keep watching and watching and watching. And I was enjoying myself so much. And then I had to watch for mi message español things like the Kevin Smith He-Man series
Or Cowboy
and
Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop. And I had to go back and I rewatched this year Cowboy Bebop. And it's so amazing, the details, the music, everything. And then I had to
Yeah,
watch the new series.
don't forget one thing. They actually knew when to shut up and let the whole scene talk for itself.
Yeah, they knew how to make you feel bad in a
I
way
mean,
that you
literally,
enjoy it.
the best moments of the entire series were when the characters just shut up and let the whole world speak for
Yeah,
itself. The movements,
and
the music, the lights,
yeah,
everything.
I'm
It's just so
I'm starting back with Wolf Rain. That is also a great anime, and I'm having a blast going back to the past. But no, I have No Way Home. That is something that I enjoyed incredibly from the bottom of my heart. I cannot express how much I enjoyed seeing the redemption of a lot of parts of Spider-Man that I felt even into the Spider-Verse. That's why my first dog is called Miles Morales, because I love that movie. And the little thing was trying to claim a lot of shit, and he's black. So, well, he's Miles Morales. And then I got a white dog, and he's the white Miles Morales. So he's Peter Parker. And it's all like because
Guys,
I love Spider-Man that much. And how can I express the happiness of this movie? But the rest of the year, the past has held my hand and keep me going.
right? No, it has. The past has carried us through, and you and Diego and Paulie, basically the whole Emmy Espanol, you guys came out for Toxic Tuesday to when we talked Desperado. And
Yeah.
I wanted the goals to get you guys all on again. At least I want to get you guys all on together for Once Upon a Time in Mexico, just to follow it up with
Oh
the
yeah.
tradition. So I'm sure like I'll ask Diego and Paulie, they'll do it. We just gotta make sure we gotta have all you guys for the schedules aligned. But that's the goal, because like we had so much fun doing Desperado, we might as well keep the tradition going. And yes, also one I caught a quick glimpse. It is so bad watching these guys sing. Tom Connors, Culture Casino, and Poly Latino Slant are all doing karaoke at Latino Slants page. Guys, keep two separate tabs open and watch this. You got to hear them doing Christmas jangles. It is the
No.
funniest. It's Diva says I have to play the backup. Oh my god! Seriously, like, dude. Okay, I'm sure I gotta listen to it.
I have gone to a karaoke night only once at Pauli's. I ended up
Oh my
singing in
god!
Japanese a Yakuza song.
Dragon Master isn't good. I'll let you decide for yourself.
if I ever go to one of those, I'm gonna sing the Gundam theme song.
Oh, the national anthem. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a great song, and the N one too.
I'm gonna be okay. As funny as that is, sounds like he's getting castrated. I don't mind Tom's voice. I really don't, but that comment is still funny nonetheless. That comment's still very funny.
I bought a single.
Yeah, right. I did too. Oh my god. Well, I guess since we're here, Ironcaster, why don't you talk about what you've been into?
Well, I mean, yeah, Pablo hit on one of the things I was going to recommend this year, and that was going to be the Dune. Dune is I absolutely loved.
All right.
When that was first announced for supposed to have been coming out last year, that was like the number one movie I was excited for, as like that was the one, like this is it. And I am so glad to see that it lived up to my expectations for an adaptation of the book. And like you said, Pablo, it is it doesn't quite reach what the original source book was, but there's so much to love in that movie.
Yes.
I think one of my absolute favorite things that surprised me was just how good Oscar Isaac transformed himself to become the Duke Leto.
Dude, don't get me wrong. I have seen that movie 8 times since it came out. 8 times. Also, the music is good. Don't if you mix it with the movie, with the sound of the movie, it becomes a melody. The thing is, if you only hear the soundtrack, it is not music because it lacks the rhythm of the movie.
I like some of the stuff like the use of bagpipes and and how little Zendaya was in it. She's not one of my favorite people, not one of my favorite actresses, because it's like she's. I mean,
she was part. One thing I want to. Can I say one thing, guys? That's actually pretty hilarious about Zendaya. She was part of this show on Disney called Shake It Up. She had this co-star who I'm not kidding you, would have been a perfect MJ.
You know, I don't see her as MJ, but she's getting better as an actress. And
yes,
at least I am giving her that. And she's looking more like a woman out of late because she was like.
Sorry, I heard a quick list of Tom Connor saying guys, I wholeheartedly everyone in the chat and on the panel, please listen to a separate tab. Oh my god.
So I do feel like I need to kind of take back a little bit of my criticism to Zendaya just because of Spider-Man. It's like she is definitely improved between me seeing her in Dune and seeing her in Spider-Man.
Oh, Zendaya,
yeah. It seemed like in all the movies I had seen her in, it's like she's not so much acting as she's like taking an eye exam. She just squints.
Yeah,
that's why I think she didn't get that much talking to.
It was like someone told her that squinting is the way to come off as a deep actor.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's funny you mentioned that. Like, I can't believe I'm saying it, but one of my complaints, and this even dates back to the Raimi flex, was Kirsten Dunst. I was never a fan of her, and I was still not a fan of Zendaya in the first two movies. But this is the first movie she felt like she was of use and understanding and was sincere. And even though obviously her outside personality is nothing to behold, but it was just watching her be that way with Peter Parker, like, did feel pure and feel genuine. And she really was there for his best interest, even though he was there for her interests. And she was there to motivate him and uplift him too. That is what you should have. She should be a rock to Peter. And that felt good and awesome to see that happen, because I feel like Kirsten Dunst was way too much of a damsel to the point where I was just like, all she does is scream all day. So it was nice to see this for a change for once. I didn't ever expect to come from Zendaya of all people, but I'll take it.
This is my thing with the Durst version of Mary Jane. She is one-dimensional, she is vapid, she is completely useless. Durst is not even trying to act. Damn, she's hot.
Well, I guess it all comes down to that, right?
Yeah. I enjoyed her on the movies because, let's admit it, if you mood her, you can keep watching her, and that's great.
It's like Gal Gadot. I can forgive a lot as Wonder Woman, because I just look at her and went, what? She was acting? What?
Exactly.
Too funny.
And I was a teenager, so what can I say? I love her, and then she made that stupid music video of I think I'm
turning Japanese.
Whoa, wait a minute, wait. She's 18, right? It's okay. We can look at her. She's 18, right?
Nah, I think she's around.
Well,
Wait, how old is she?
Let me find
No,
out.
now she is like 40.
I think she's
Oh
25.
man, if you hear a knock on the door, it's not me.
25.
Ah,
25. You're good.
Whew. Okay,
25.
I feel better now.
You were gonna
This
leave us
seems
to
like a
burn,
fine
wouldn't
wine.
you?
No, I never do that. Who are you?
Guys,
Ah,
this is a
Oh.
foily.
Yeah, I got
This-
that.
This has been an awesome comic. I'm
I haven't read it
shocked
yet.
how awesome
Wait.
it's been. It's the dialogue is a bit minimal, but what has happened, like story base wise, has been absolutely awesome with this character. He's this machine who he lacks like a past memory of life, but he dates back to way back when. I shouldn't get into too much spoilers, but and he has a very brutal past. So this is not for the weak of heart. This is not. For those who are interested, there is a trade out of issues 1 through 4. Number 6 came out this week. So this has been awesome. I said like Mike Tyson for a second. It's co-written by Matthew Kint and Keanu Reeves. And according to Ron Garney, who I listened to on his interview this week on Thinking Critical, apparently Keanu has been very instrumental in this book and being involved. And obviously, we can only go off his word, but I'm gonna take Garney's word because Garney has been very good with the fans and people in general. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, you know what? I believe him on this one. And usually when there's celebrities linked, and as much as I love Keanu Reeves, I kind of get a bit hesitant. I really do. I'm like, just because you're good at a movie doesn't make you translate to a good book. Obviously, we've had some exceptions like Gerard Way with the Umbrella Academy, but the other 9 times out of 10, it's just a name there just to try to sell a book, which ultimately it doesn't do past the issue number 1. But this book has actually been fun. It's been absolutely crazy, psychotically brutal, and the brutality is there for a reason. It's not just there for shock's sake. There is some substance to back the story up. So I highly recommend, and of course, look at what Ron Garney's pencils are is always a wondrous sight to see. And Lee Garbett has great covers as well. I love a good cover, and of course, every issue has had the foily as well. So this is a Lee Garbett foily. So I'm a big sucker for the foily.
I have heard that myself about Keanu being quite involved, and not just from that interview this week. Like I've heard that in other places that Keanu is very much involved in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, let me break the facade for a moment here. I gotta grab my stack of comics
Hey,
this week.
Philbo TZ, what's up, guys? Do it, guys. He's gonna take off his clothes for us, and then he's gonna unbox.
No. Please keep your clothes on.
No, take it off. Take it out.
I don't know.
if he
Let's,
takes it off,
see what
I'm
the
going
next-
to put something in my eyes.
Let's see what the next super chat
Ew.
decides.
Ew, that's what she said.
Because I want to grab my copy.
Oh.
I grabbed a different cover than you.
Oh, that's number 6.
Nice.
That's number 6. I had number 4 in my hand. You have number 6. That's
Yeah,
a number 6. That's a number 6 variant with the foily.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like,
My number 6 is still in my shop. I haven't picked it up yet. But I also was in the Kickstarter too. You guys in the Kickstarter?
Mm-hmm.
No.
I did not do the Kickstarter. I know. I will say, Thoth, I'm regretting it, and that's why I held off because I originally am like, oh come on, they're just trying to sell a book because it has Keanu Reeves, and once again, that's coming from a Keanu Reeves fan. It's just once again, it's historically speaking, celebrity attached to comic book usually doesn't work. However, like Keanu Reeves, he's just continues to somehow be exceptional, and I was wrong, and I'm regretting backing it. I'm sorry, regretting not backing it. Let me correct myself there. I wish I had, and now I'm kicking myself for it.
Yeah, I backed for like $300 or something. It was the
Glorious.
the master editions, the signatures and everything. But what I did was, because being a Canadian that I am, I told them that that I would wait until the end. What I loved about this Kickstarter is they allowed us to have the option to have it all shipped at once at the end. as opposed to spending like $40 every time the comic came out, right? So when it's all done, they're going to package it up. They're going to send it to me with all the special editions, all the signatures and everything. And I'm really looking forward to it. But what I did too is I went to my local comic shop and I said, hey, I'd like to get the special Berserker covers. Give me first pick. And so my comic shop said, yeah, whatever comic cover you want for that issue, and I'll let you have it. So far it's been good. I haven't picked up my number 6 yet, but that one right there that you just showed, that one's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I need that one.
It's a cool cover, and he's speaking hearing Ron Garney speak about on how he does his pencils for the books. It was really cool thought. I really recommend you listen. I'm sure you're at least aware of the YouTube channel Thinking Critical. If you're not, obviously,
absolutely.
Yeah, he did an interview with Ron Garney, and he actually just uploaded one either yesterday or today with Matthew Kent as well. So you got one of the co-writers and the penciler on the book he's now got.
Nice.
So yeah, I've listened to the Garney one. I'm gonna listen to Matthew Kent next, but dude, it's been surprisingly a good book. I'd say the one minor flaw. This is just a geek nitpick. This is more. They're a little bit too quick at times. But to be fair, it is a bit longer of a read if you're actually looking at all the little details that Garney implemented through the book. Because if you look at all the little details of all the brutality of what's going on, you actually end up sitting with the book a bit longer because you're looking at every little thing, which I do like to do. Like especially if I know that the penciler is making it an intention to make you see every little thing that's going on, whether big or small, I'll definitely take my time and sit with the book more. And they do with this book here. They really do. It's been nice, and there are 6 issues in, and it feels awesome to have a book like that to enjoy. And just it's been fun too. It's super, super metal. And of course, unshockingly, The Last Ronin has been good. And a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
I'm gonna repeat myself again. We talked about this, I think, last week. The Last Ronin Design Archive. I'm going to zoom here. This is for people who want to see like the early makings of a comic get done, where characters' suits are in progress, stories in progress. This gets you like the details on where the story evolves from. You get like panels made of like the evolution of like characters like Casey Marie Jones. It's just such a great TMNT recommend. Like you get to see all these details. I'm going to recommend it along with the story, but it's just I feel like this is the comic this is the copy of that story that's going to get overlooked because it's the one that just tells you how they made the story. But I'm one of those guys who loves to see the ins and outs of things, and I feel like this equally deserves as much acclaim as the actual Last Ronin story itself. And it's just been so fun to go, dude. Come on, like.
That is pretty cool. I haven't picked that up. I just as a final little note from me for Berserker.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to know how the bacon is made.
Go for it, Thoth.
I like the story. It's different. I think it's a little generic. It's violent, obviously, but I think the story is a little vanilla. If you ask me, I think it could be better. I would give it probably a 4 out of 5. It's good. Could be a lot better.
I think that's very optimistic of you.
Yeah, I think that there's. So I think why I give it such a high rating is because it's 2021 comic books. I know that, Clauby, I'm sure you can appreciate this too. A lot of the storylines and a lot of the stuff that we grew up in was very weird and out there. I mean, Arm Fall Off Boy, Matter Eater Lad. I mean, come on. So there.
Come on, you guys were born in the golden generation.
Those classic Superman covers and Lois Lane covers and Jimmy Olsen covers and all those great stories that we grew up with that were just completely out there. I can appreciate that, but these here, it's a lot of the storylines in our era of comic books are a little bit more tighter of a storyline because I think the critics like us are really hard on them. Yeah. But I think that the what I like about Berserker is, it's kind of that storyline where it's got like this tight, violent storyline, but it's unique. At least it's got that going for it.
Mhm.
It reminds me. Oh, it reminds me of Once and Future. I don't know if any of you know of the
I
Boom
have read the
Studios
first trade
story.
of that.
Yeah,
I like it.
Well, that's
I
only
like-
because they didn't have the luxury of falling back on sitting around in coffee shops and talking every single issue.
right. That's a good point. The internet is really hard on pop culture, if you ask me. Social media and the internet is really, really hard. It's hard for people to be creative when, as soon as you put out a video, we're going to be downvoting it, right? So Kieran Gillen, Dan Mora, Tamara Bonvillain, it's just great. The art has been great. Dan Mora has been great art on Once and Future. Kieran Gillen, it's a unique story based on something that's as old as time. It's the Arthurian mythos, but it really starts to grow from there. It goes Greek, it goes Medusa, it goes Norse mythology. It's really a bunch of stuff, and I've been really, really enjoying it. But the only thing that I will say that's a negative about it is once you get past the first 10 issues, if you haven't been following it pretty regularly, you can't just jump in on issue 17 and pick it up from there. It's very complicated storyline. So, but it's fun. I've been enjoying it. That's another indie type. That's my honorable mention.
Nice. Hey,
It just dawned on
guys,
me that all the comic shop stuff, all the coffee shop stuff stems from Friends.
Mhm.
yeah. And you know, Friends actually destroyed the X-Men for a while. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, if
No,
I think
I
that's
went
what we
back-
are now, right? We're the comic
Right.
book, the coffee shop.
yeah,
No,
Yeah.
we're the coffee shop. Yeah, true. No, Thoth, I'm
I
glad you
got my
brought up
coffee
that
right
book
here.
because there's like what
In
3
my-
or 4 trades now.
Spider
Yeah,
Gwen
I think the 4th trade, if it's not out this month, it's next month. I think you're right.
Look at that mug. Show us your mug. You toxic.
That mug
male.
goes right with that hat, man.
It actually
course.
does. Look
Hey,
at he's casting away. What's up, Basco Scenario? I see you in the chat. How you doing?
It's cold coffee.
Cheers.
guys, do
It's
you
cold
want
coffee.
to see something really stupid?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Oh no, let's
When
see
The
it.
Force Awakens came, I bought a ton of these because I was using them with a heat gun to actually shape them.
Mm-hmm.
So I have like 3 more of these, and I have a couple of Kylo Rens and some stupid shit like that. Yeah. So laugh it up, man. Laugh it up. At least it was $2, man.
Oh, oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
It's obviously
I'm sorry, what were we talking about?
knockoff.
I was laughing at
Dragon
something else.
Master in the chat there just reminded me of a book that you turned me on to this year, Nick.
Okay.
Ultra Mega.
Oh yeah, I knew I was missing a book. Tell us, dude. That is the kaiju book from written and drawn by James Heron. Why don't you talk to us about Ultra Mega?
I'll be
Well
honest,
done.
I haven't read it in a minute, but it was a effectively almost post-apocalyptic world where kaijus have sort of come and wreck the planet, where people are basically living out of the blood and guts of the remains of these heroes, where the Ultraman character lost.
Yes.
And it's got the bright kind of neon pastel colors to it.
Mhm.
It's got plenty of blood and guts to the point where you have the heroes you have the giant heroes with their building sized teeth getting knocked out of their heads.
No,
It's a brutal book. It's brutal, but there is, once again, like Berserker, I'd say it's definitely a bit of more of a longer read, which is why it's again one of my minor critiques with Berserker is it's too fast of a read, but once again it helps with the added details. There is definitely more going on story wise in Ultra Mega, so it also helps that there's a bigger page count as well. definitely worthy of a read, and it's very it's very fun. Like it's so crazy and shamelessly over the top. It doesn't apologize for what it wants to be, and it's a beautiful sight to see. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Ultra Mega as well, and I want to. I guess since while we're on the boom and image wagon, I'm gonna recommend the Me You Love in the Dark. Um, I'm a bit mixed on horror. I'm a bit more on like the thriller or supernatural side as far as horror goes.
Oh,
Slashers
Boom
aren't
Comics
really my
exists.
spiel. Now, I do like the Me Love in the Dark. It's this girl who's an artist. She goes to get away. So if you're an artist, sometimes you need to get away from the world in order to fulfill your craft. Maybe because you're not distracted. So you have an idea that makes logical sense. She goes away to get away, and she happens to get really comfy at this house. She gets a glass of wine. She puts on the music. She gets in her element to paint. And well, there happens to be a very unwelcoming guest, and that guest kind of not just lives in the house, but lives within the house. So, and finds this guest to be very charming, but then that charmingness suddenly takes to a very dark turn, and I love how it played out. And it actually just recently wrapped up. It went 5 issues. Jorge Corona did the pencils. The style is definitely more anime manga ish, but it's obviously definitely more of an American type of story. And it was 5 issues. There's a trade coming out in February. Scotty Young, of course, is the writer, so I do recommend the Me You Love in the Dark. It was fun. It was dark, but it wasn't dark to a point where you just couldn't take it seriously. It was just redonkulous. It was kind of even fun at times, and it was kind of curious to see the big reveal of what this character who lived within the shadows looked like. So I do give that a recommend. And I see TZ Canadian. What's up, dude? How are ya? Nice to see you here, and I'm gonna give you a good old taste of the patriarchy.
Boom, bitch.
Speaking of making
PZ
sandwiches,
Canadian for $10 says, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Wishing you a happy and successful New Year. And TZ, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for your $10. I appreciate that.
knuckle sandwiches all around.
Oh, that clip. Now that I have seen No Way Home, is basically like exactly what Sony did to Disney.
Without
it
lube?
this was a purge. They were removing the MCU out of the Spider-Man MCU.
Well, they have Doctor Strange, though, is the main plot line. That's an MCU right there.
Yeah, but at the end, God damn it, we can.
We're gonna have to
I know it's hard to
get
to
into
talk
this
about it
on
without
stage, but
spoilers.
it's like,
Yeah.
Dude, you can always. I just get. Like, after a couple of drinks, I just
gotta
stop caring.
It's like we just got it. Well, no. I mean, the thing is, this is like the most anticipated movie of the year. We got to avoid.
But there's one thing I
giving away
gotta
too much
know.
because
There's one
it's
thing I
not-
gotta know from you guys. There was this rumor that Daredevil was in it. Is it true?
I'm not going to say whether or not
no,
Daredevil.
it's not.
Daredevil
Don't
was in
watch
it.
the movie, man. It's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I think it's worth watching.
Yeah, totally. And I mean
it
this. I have the last couple of Marvel movies. I actually felt like I was paying to be an asshole. So for Eternals, I went full on. I sell the HACs.
It was the
But
best Marvel movie in 2 years that wasn't done by Disney.
Man is one of the best movies that I have seen in the last 5 years, maybe.
Ooh, 5, really?
Yeah, is better than Infinity War in a lot of things, including there's not so much of that stupid Marvel humor.
Let's be honest. A lot of things can beat
There's some of
Infinity
that.
War.
There's some of that there, though.
There's a bit at the
Endgame.
beginning, but then they
Endgame,
changed
yeah,
to-
but I don't think Infinity War, though. I'm
I
not
liked
sure.
Infinity War.
Oh, I love that. But
I have a hard time. I have a hard
Yeah.
time speaking negatively of Infinity War, but Endgame was just awful.
So-
Endgame was a weird movie.
yes,
So trying to kind of steer away from some of the Spider-Man talk a little bit, just because it's too easy to get down that road. What did you guys think of with now that we've had a little hindsight and it's been quite a few months, no one's really thinking about it. Mortal Kombat.
There's something that
Wait,
I found
the movie.
really comical about that movie. The main character, his superpower is growing a thick skin. So basically, he is a guy that is growing up in the internet.
As a kid who spent a lot of quarters in the Mortal Kombat arcade game, and I grew up in the '80s, just loving those characters. I hated the movie, but it is certainly not as bad as some of the gaming movies that I've seen over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Are we talking
Yeah,
Mortal
I'll tell-
Kombat?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that movie.
I wanted
Okay.
to try to steer away from the Spider-Man stuff a little
Yeah.
bit because it's too easy to accidentally let something slip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoopa Troopa, to answer your question, you do not need to leave. You are safe here.
Yep.
And then TZ Canadians, FNT saying Spider-Man, I do agree with them. We're not gonna really get into it right now. We might do it maybe in half hour, 40 minutes we will, but we're just trying to take a minor break from it. Even though I do want to talk about it, it's just good to talk about something else for a bit. That's all. So we want people to be able to come someplace where they don't feel like am I teetering coming into the stream as some. No, you're safe here. All right, with the panel already knows we talked about it. You're good here.
Yeah,
all
we're
right?
not going to spoil the movie.
You're good, Whoopa Troopa. You're good here. So, anyways, I'll let you guys carry on. Thank you guys. Sorry, I had to check on something, but all is good. So
You know what movie
Mortal
I
Kombat
really
sucked.
love? It kinda sucked. There was some good things. The
No,
goal
it
was
sucked.
good. It was nothing that I will watch with the sound on. That's But what
I watched
do
it
you-
once. I will never watch it again. Enough
neither
said.
will I.
Yeah.
I'm good.
What
I'm good.
did you guys thought about Godzilla versus Kong? Because that
Oh,
movie,
I was
I
hoping to
really
go
love
there.
it.
Really?
It's
Didn't we
a
talk
stupid-
about this like 2 years ago?
It was at the beginning of this year.
Was it?
Yeah,
Man, it just feels like a long time ago. I
Yeah,
agree
I
with
forgot about it.
Todd there.
that was April.
April.
Feels like
That seems like a lifetime ago.
Yeah, right. It really
does.
does. No, that's funny you mentioned that because it's funny how me and Pablo got this thing started back in January, and now here we are in December. It feels like we've been doing this for 2 years and not 1 year. Is that
Yeah, I know what you mean.
like it's funny how that happens. Like, man, it's really weird to think this. Like, they have to for those in the chat, in case you guys somehow haven't figured out, but we're not going to be here next week or the weekend after because obviously at Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve. So I do have a life. I'm a dad, so I've got priorities in my life. But I promise we'll be back here in 3 weeks, stronger than all, as Pantera would say. Deep down, stronger than all. It'll be great. It'll be glorious. But you guys will obviously have FNT and the Frolics, so you'll be good. You won't need to worry about little old Nick here and the comic talk. So, but we'll be back and it'll be glorious. So, just a quick heads up in the chat. Just keep your eyes and ears open. We'll be back in 3 weeks, and of course, I'll remind you guys come the end of the stream. And now to our normal scheduled broadcast of Comic Shop Talk.
So I do have one thing I want to show off because it kind of came up with some of the movie talk here. Let me switch over my. It's a Blu-ray I just got in the mail.
All right, hold on. Before you do, Fenrir needs a bottle. So, Fenrir, be nice, swift, and quick.
Okay. Y'all know me. Y'all know me. Y'all know what to do.
No, I don't.
Yeah, that's about that. So, yeah, I'm going to give my goodbyes here to the gentlemen. First of all, Thought, watch over your women and your princess to make sure Tooth Decay doesn't take her away. Paulie, keep away from the weed, dude. Keep it safe. You can smoke a little bit, but keep it safe. clobbering times. I got nothing to say, dude. Just keep being awesome. And Ironcaster, I'll see you next week for Gundam.
Oh yeah.
We might do karaoke. And Nick, this just goes for you. Most importantly, seriously, dude, stay safe on these crazy times. Chicago seems to be a hellhole. Stay safe.
I'm well
and be
protected.
careful eating.
I'm well protected in the burbs, dude. By the time they get to me, they'll already be dead. We're good.
All right then. All of you stay.
All right, Fenrir, Merry Christmas, buddy.
It'll be like
Merry
Jeff
Christmas.
Yeah,
with
Merry
C.
Christmas. Merry Christmas to all you guys. You guys have been a great keeping up. You guys you're a good crew. I'm happy I met you guys. All of you are funny. Even the Canadian one, surprisingly. He is funny.
Gee, thanks.
Wow.
Yet I wonder, seriously,
safe,
one
bro.
day I one day want to see your face, Todd. I want to know if Canadians really have that face
No,
or not.
he has a secret identity. We respect. Yeah, in this chat, in this panel, we respect the secret identity.
One day
And
I
even
will
if you
see
see
it.
my face, you may not really get to see my face. It might be somebody
Ooh.
else's. It's
What are you talking
he's
about?
the
The bird beak is
question.
his face.
Dear God. Dear
And a
God.
big nose.
Okay, then, my brothers in arms in the war against boredom, I wish you all a Merry Christmas and stay safe.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas, man.
And bye bye,
Welcome.
chat.
All right.
Don't be bitches in this life. Peace to you all.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere. Before we go on, Ironcaster, our boy Philbo Baggins over here. This man, guys, has got a Kickstarter coming out. I should dig for that. Philbo
Boom, shakalaka.
Baggins for $10.
Man, I had to see that last one. All right, then. Peace.
Peace.
Peace, dude. Philbo Baggins for $10 says, since you are off next week, Merry Christmas to you, and Merry Christmas to you, dude. Hey, please ship me that when you can. Ship me that package. I can't wait to see what you got cooking as far as comics goes. I want to see what you got, man. I want to see what you got. I'm kind of antsy here. But thank you. I appreciate that. Merry Christmas, my man. All right, thank you. All right, Ironcaster, I'm going to give you the screen.
All right, so let me get my transition. I got a new movie. Well,
Ooh.
not so much a new movie, but it's a classic. And we were talking about Mortal Kombat, and you can't talk about Mortal Kombat and not talk about Street Fighter the movie.
Oh,
Yes.
So, just because the steelbook case for this is so good, it's got to be shown off.
Dude, show it. Take it out.
Oh.
Take it out of your pants.
one of the best video game
Oh.
movies up to Detective Pikachu.
So
Come
here we have the
on.
front,
Oh, dude, Detective Pikachu is good.
Yeah.
and I see in the chat there, Dragon Master, about and look at the back of this. It's got Raul Julia, the painting,
Oh.
That's beautiful.
and if you look here on the bottom, we've got quotes. Are you mad enough to fight me? And of course, all humanity shall bow to me. But if
I
we
love
open
that
this up,
movie.
Philbo, I take a size small in the t-shirt aisle. Thank you. I cannot wait. I will wear that shirt on stream.
if we open this up, it also comes with a bison duck.
That's so beautiful.
I had to get it for the money.
Ryuken!
You did it for the money. Of course you did. Of course you did it for the money.
Man,
Of course I
that
did.
Cracked me up.
So what's that convert into Canadian dollars?
Oh, after we convert the American and
Carry the one.
oh, I mean, it also
Dude.
doesn't have a picture of a queen on it, so we'll see.
Wait, your money has Freddie Mercury? No, you said you had money with Queen on it. Man, a bill
Let's
with
just like
Freddie
change my
Mercury.
profile picture.
Right?
I think he means Queen Victoria, but I get your joke.
All I know is I get too much Canadian change like quarters and dimes and nickels like flowing across the border.
Mm-hmm.
We got Liz, we've got Vic, we got all the girls up here, the queens.
Yeah, that was too. I'm like I
Oh, you got
had it,
more?
like, I had to.
You got
Oh,
more?
I've got
Oh,
stuff.
give me a
I've got
second.
an unboxing here. I can.
All
do.
right. Well, then, no, please go in. This is your show right now, Caster. You're the man right now.
So one of my constantly ongoing favorite series is currently, I believe, available via Indiegogo, and that would be for the next volume of Common America. Which is a Carol Danvers parody. And if we open this up, I gotta dig through all this. I got the brand new volume came in the mail today.
Ooh, Common America. Nice.
Oh,
Toxic. Zoom in. Yeah, you might as well just show out the toxicity while we're here.
and like, look at this Mount Rushmore in the background. If you didn't realize that, because you're probably not going to be looking at the heads of presidents when you see this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm alright. It's just like, hold on, what? There's Mount Rushmore?
And if you're a fan of My Hero Academia, you'll enjoy the art style.
Yeah.
Brett Cohen, this is not that type of story. That's a promise.
Okay, it reminds me a lot. Have you ever read the one shot for My Hero Academia before the manga was actually made?
I have not. That's about all. That's about all I had to show off.
Look for it.
All right.
The art style is just. Oh, do you wanna see something really funny? I just thought about this. You guys have seen American made money for America, but how about American made money for Ecuador? This is something really stupid.
Mm-hmm. Oh, let's see what you got.
Money. This is an actual 25 cents coin that has value
Ooh,
as an American coin, but is made for Ecuador.
nice.
Who's
Yeah.
on the front of that?
This is Jose Joaquin de Olmedo. Is one of the guys that fought for our freedom, and this is a 5 cent. This is Juan Montalvo, and yeah, these things. For some reason, the American government decided that they wanted us to have money, and we use the normal money, the normal
Dude.
American money. So they decided just to make money for Ecuador for no reason, and we have that. I don't know why. And also, we use a lot the $1 coin.
Sacagaweas.
Dude. Nice.
Yeah, and I have a couple of rare ones of these that are worth like a lot of money, but not here in my country. There, so
Dude, nice. Nice. I feel like Mike Tyson. Nice. So, okay, we're gonna ask this is like a 2021 way, but it's not 2021. We talked about with movie, but what's the best story you discovered or rediscovered in 2021 that's not from 2021? And I'm gonna have Clobberin to answer this one because I know he discovered or rediscovered something that came from before this year, whether it was a few years ago or 20 years ago. I know you got an answer. So, Clobberin,
Did I?
there's something you read this year. I know there's something.
Oh yeah, that probably is. But man, dude, I did not
the
expect that
Eternals.
question. Maybe I'd let me go last. So I can think about it.
Okay, I'll let you go last.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Like something I've reviewed recently. You mean other than Eternals? Yeah,
whatever.
It was
If you want
Eternals.
to be the Eternals, whatever.
Kirby's
whatever.
Eternals. Yeah, now I know. I'm sorry, I was slow on the
No,
uptake
it's
there,
okay.
brother.
It's okay. You want to answer it then right now?
Well, that definitely would be one since we're in the vein of comic books. It had been just almost forever, since I read the issues, and probably when I did way back when there was piecemeal and stuff like that. So as you know, we did a show, you and myself and Mark D with a
Yes.
C. We reviewed all 20 issues of Jack Kirby's run on Eternals, 19 regular
That was
issues, one
fun.
annual. So that's the closest that I'm thinking of at the moment for this year. Something that from something older that I went back and discovered. There could be some other ones, but that was truly like, again, especially when you have a memory like mine, it feels like it's pretty much new to you. So it was a whole new experience. It really was. And we talked about this on a review. It's you can say what you want about the clunkiness of the dialogue and the script. The story, however, is potent. The ideas are just extraordinary and very Kirby-ish, and for me, some of his finest art. And so it's a wonderful experience to go back and see that again and just re-experience after that long. And that would be one I could think of. There are probably some other ones that I've reread this year that I'm not really.
We'll come back to you. Once you think about it, we'll come back to you. So, Pablo, I'm sure you're mentioning it happening with movies. What comics did you go back to? What was something you rediscovered or discovered for the first time that was not from this year? They're like, wow, how did I miss out on this? Like, I should have got on this sooner. Paul, I know you got something.
And actually, it's thanks to Chloe, because he directed me to question number 1. I read part of that story and I knew a lot of that story, but I had never read the full run until Chloe pointed me to it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, there's my favorite scene of the whole comic, actually, the whole comic run, is Batman just going off to the question, telling him, how fucking dare you go out and try to fight crime while you are just this stupid guy. You don't know what you are doing. You will kill yourself. You will kill someone. How dare you do this? And the question is just in bed without the ability to even move. Like, fuck, man.
And that's very modern Batman too, by the way.
Oh, very.
Yeah, but that was still a Batman that had some sanity, like because he was late '80s Batman. That was a great run there, though. Denny O'Neil and Dennis Cowan's run on the question was.
Oh, and Neil,
yeah.
So,
Vic Sage.
That one is great. That one I will recommend. Just there's places to read it if it's not on some Comixology or something like that.
Before the question became a bisexual woman, right?
Right.
Wait, what?
Wait,
what? Montoya's the question now.
Yeah.
I'm glad I stopped reading.
And the CW took full. Anyway, I'm going to stop.
So the question is questioning her sexuality now?
The questioning. Yeah, it's changing him to the questioning. They changed the title. That's the character. Hello, I'm the questioning. A new hero for our age.
Do you like girls or do you like boys?
That's the question. The question.
How you doing, Ruben? Nice to see you. Hopefully you got out of Illinois okay. Oh man, that was some shit.
Long time no see, Ruben.
I know, right? That was seriously, that was some shit, Pablo. Thoth, do you got anything that you've been going back to that you're like, man, this is still awesome, or how did I miss this way back when?
I have been perusing several auctions lately.
Ooh.
I never collected the early Daredevil issues. And I've been picking up some really prime gems for like Canadian loonies. The loonies and toonies have been going, and it's been cheap. I picked up some unbelievable issues from Daredevil's early era. I'm talking the 20s, 30s, and 40s.
Nice.
And I've been, and let me tell you, they've been on my nightstand and I've been reading through them, and I had forgotten how good comics could actually be written. The art is great. The smell, like I get them. It's funny because I win the auction and I got a stack. I mean, a stack of like 20 Daredevil comics for $5 Canadian.
Wow, dude.
And by the way, Canadian auction and Canadian shipping. So it was like $5 shipping, $5. It was just so anyway. It was like $30 because even the auctioneers, they take their cut, right? So after all of it, it was like $30 for a stack of comics, and I just started reading, and it's some classic art. We're talking, 20-cent comics, 25-cent comics, and I'm flipping through them, and just the smell as soon as you take them out of the bag. Wow, the ink and the paper and everything and the feel is just so different than modern comics. And I started reading through the stories, and wow, and that's Daredevil. And I'm not a Marvel guy usually; I'm a DC guy. And
yes, that's why this is surprising coming from you. We've had this conversation, so I'm like,
that's right. So that's what I've been enjoying because I just it was one of those things where I'm going through the auction. I'm like, yeah, it's one of those nights where you're like, yeah, okay, there's nothing here I'm going to bid on. It's all crap. And then there was like a slew of Daredevil ones. And I went, oh, I'll bid on that, $1. And I went, oh, really? I got that for $1? Oh, well, this one, $2. And I went, oh, $2? Really? And I was like, $1, 50 cents, $1.50. I'm like, wow. And next thing I know, I got a stack of them, right? And they're in really good shape. And it's funny how going back to the Bronze Age and mostly the Bronze Age, Silver Age if you're lucky, but Bronze Age stuff is really cheap right now. And just reading the old stories that I haven't read before, and that's my recommendation. Check out some auctions, everybody out there in the chat. If you're looking for old comics and you want to read some old stories from some classics, I love the Daredevil TV show, especially first and second season.
Yeah.
I love that show. It's great. It's very much true to the character. I mean, here and there's going to be issues. Obviously there is, but I love that show. And it got me thinking, I might want to pick up some comics. And I did, and I didn't regret it. So look out there. There's auctions out there. Get some old classic comics. Those are the stories you really want to go back to because they're classic.
I'm glad you mentioned that, thought, because that did jog my memory. I just went back after.
Yes.
When it comes to the Daredevil
What'd you
TV
get?
series, obviously when it first came out, I watched it and loved it, but I've not watched it in many years until just a couple of months back, Nicholas, and which were both, that was such a great show, and that again that got me wanting to go back and deep dive on some old Daredevil comics, and that's why I did that show recently about the pre-Miller Daredevil, the Daredevil that existed 16 years before Miller came along and changed the character, even though I still like that stuff. So I just love that Thoth mentioned that because the show was great. But there was a different Daredevil before Miller turned him into the guy we saw him on the show. And I'm glad to see, he was a superhero at that point who fought supervillains and stuff like that. So, yeah, and I'm glad you found those. And by the way, even if you can't find those cheap deals, right now, I don't know if you do comicsology much, Nick.
Oh, I actually like comicsology. Like, obviously, I'm a physical guy at the end of the day, but I'll read digital if I gotta.
Well, they've got tons of their sale from last year. Zillions of Masterworks for 99 cents and $1.99 on there. I mean, if you just need to read something, some of the old, and a lot of them are, of course, gold, silver, and Bronze Age ones. So, again, I'm all for. I love the physical, want it. But sometimes, if you just want to read something and blow up that beautiful art on the big screen, it's kind of fun. The digital stuff is fun.
I love seeing on the big TV, dude, and seeing that the art just like it takes over your screen. It's pretty surreal to see. I love it. No, as far as an art standpoint, I love seeing on the big screen. So obviously, I love owning the copy. I love having in my hand the comic smell, the whole presentation. But as far as a digital perspective, I love it for the art because of seeing on my TV. I have a pretty damn nice TV, so they always say not to brag, but I'm gonna brag. I'm pretty damn proud of my TV. So to see art on my TV is just like, dude, it feels like one of those like Bill and Ted. It's like no way type of moments. So
Yeah.
it like when I was reading the Eternals run of Jack Kirby in its entirety, there's a few issues or 3 even where I read straight on the TV. It's just like, no way.
It looks so. That art looks so beautiful. On the big TC.
dude.
Here's the thing about that. I love, of course, from respect collectors, having been in the business and been one and stuff, and I love having the physicals. But see, the paper that these things are printed on and the format they're printed on were simply the mechanism or the vehicle to translate the stories. And they're great collectibles and stuff. They're not going to last forever. And it's great when you get the physicals, and I love it. But still, it's the story, the ideas, and the art that matter the most. So any way you can read them, that's the important thing. That's first.
It's about
I'm a big
supporting
fan
it
of
at the end of the day.
collections.
Chloe, I actually love that you are saying that because I have been a huge proponent of other kind of preservation that is video game preservation. And we are having a lot of issues there because the cartridges and the circuitry is dead. So there's a lot of games that you cannot play anymore and will never be able to play anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, so we are trying to actually make something, and there's a lot of laws that doesn't let us rip a video game and pass it because that's piracy or whatever, but it's something that nobody will ever profit ever again because there's no one holding the rights. It's just in the ether.
Or
But
in many cases, the rights are divvied up between so many companies that, and then even then, those can get sold and split off to 3 or 4 other companies, and then you just literally do not know who owns the rights. Like for example, there's a video game sequel to the Matthew Broderick film War Games. Like, I don't know who owns the rights to that.
Will, really? Oh, so the game you made, the video game, yes.
Yes, there's a video game that was a sequel to the movie, and who knows who has the rights to that?
Yep.
It might be MGM.
Even the ones that people know who owns the rights and everything, there's some weird shit about the existence of the code. For example, what happened with Silent Hill 2 and basically Silent Hill in general. When they tried to do a remaster, the source code was no longer available, so they had to use an older version and repatch a lot and redo a lot of work, and even though it was a bunch of shit, so it didn't work. And that's because that kind of stuff is not preserved. Why would you save a project that you are no longer selling? And that's the reality for most of the things. So I'm a huge proponent of using emulation. I'm a huge proponent of owning a library of games that you can show to your kids, that you can show to people in the future, of the games that you will no longer get back. And if you can do the same for movies and for comics and all that, because, there's degradation on the film. So at one point, all the film that has been recorded will just disappear. That's normal.
That's why physical media is important.
Yeah.
Oh, it is most important. I'm simply saying that I like any way, like for example, any way I can get the story out there, the comic out there to someone. The important thing is the story and the art and the method. In other words, it's not just digital, because there are a lot of people who complain about trades and masterworks and reprint books and all that stuff. And I'm like, I love those. I do
too.
So that was I left out the most important part of that. The arguments against trades and reprint compilations and things like that. I'm saying no, because a lot of people say no. You just got to have the physical, have the originals and the physicals only. No, so I'm all for getting those stories reproduced.
Yeah,
not just digitally, but also I want them all reprinted. And luckily we're at a point now where most of the great stuff, not all, but most of it has been.
But also there's the fact and the issue of sometimes the key issues are just next to impossible to find.
Yeah,
that's absolutely that's another thing. Yes,
not everyone just can drop $300,000 per comic on these things. Obviously, that's not a literal number. That's just figuratively speaking. But but you get the point. Is what I'm trying to bring home. Like
Yeah.
we can't not everyone can just do it, and also not everyone held on to comics like that as a collectible thing at that time. So people just kind of read it, moved on with their lives. So a lot of those comics didn't always make it through
Yeah.
to the whirlwinds of time.
The fun
So
part.
the few copies that make it that much more rare, it's because there's so much fewer and far between.
Yeah. The fun part of that is that not even Marvel save a lot of these comics. So now they are trying to get them to rescan them to just try to clean it up and sell it again because they literally don't have the comic. They have to go to eBay and try to buy it. So a lot of reprints that you are getting are remasters of comics bought on eBay.
Welcome, Mark D. With
Hey.
C.
What's up, dude?
How's your
Thanks for having me. Sorry, I was.
Oh, dude, you're good.
I know.
Don't you dare apologize.
I want to apologize, but the kids are back from college, so we had takeout, and movie night. So watch Sonic
Kids
the
are
Hedgehog.
back from college. What are you, like 80?
Yeah.
No,
You aged pretty well.
He's older than me. He's older than me.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. It's good to see you,
Okay,
man.
Yeah. Good to see you. Yep. Welcome everyone. Yep. Great to see you guys. Yep.
So
But yeah, it's good to have him. Good to have him back. So. Yep.
That's what I say to my crew every time I go in. They're all like, "Hey, how are you doing today?" I'm like, "One day closer to pension."
Right.
Excellent.
That's me
Sonic
on a
was
good day.
Sonic was actually not a bad movie. I hadn't seen
No,
it. So.
it's actually not shabby. It's
Oh,
really
really?
not.
Yeah.
It actually
Yeah.
is one of the few video game movies that does not suck. I'm not joking either. Like it was watchable. Surprising. Me and Aria saw it when it came out in 2020, early 2020, and like we were surprised like how much. Like I was just like, wow, this is actually
Talk about
good. And I made it a point to see in the theaters because Paramount actually listened to the fans and pushed it back 4 months. So I and especially since there's been this whole narrative on again about how it's always an outspoken minority, I felt it was like my duty.
Yeah.
I
Dad
needed.
duty.
It was my duty to pay money to see this to prove a point that no, we're not the minority.
Yeah.
So luckily the movie did well
It
openings weekend
made a lot
and
of money,
greenlighted. Yeah, it did great. So that totally crushed that narrative of the whole minority. It shows that no, people will turn up when you listen, and I'm very glad and thankful people did because that needed to happen in order to prove said point.
Something told me that the movie was at least going to be decent, and the shirt that I'm using, I bought like a week a week ago. So I just saw the design and everything, and I was like, maybe the movie will be good. Maybe, and is the Doctor Strange spell and everything.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and
I see the shirt now. That's great.
yeah, it's crazy good. This design.
Actually, a cool shirt.
Nice.
Yeah.
I hope the spell doesn't go wrong for you.
Hey, wait a minute. I forgot who you are now.
I saw the shirt and I was like, that's an interesting design. I want it. Even if the movie sucks, there's still the Raimi logo, and that's enough for me. But the movie was great, and now I'm using this shirt, and I don't want to take it off.
Nice. Yes, DJ B2 seconds that.
Yeah, I was looking for a poster. I don't know if you see, there's a huge blank space there behind me, and I want to fill it with a poster of No Way Home, and there was nothing really good to buy, so I didn't. But one day that spot's reserved because this movie is that good.
Nice. You hear that, Pablo spoken, dude? No, I can't wait to see the gap filled, my man. Yeah, I'm gonna bring my children to see it Monday. We're gonna go see it Monday, and actually, this is one of my proudest dad moments. Today, I had them watch for their first time ever the first ever Sam Raimi 2002 movie. And it was their first time watching it, and they actually lasted through the entire thing. They were all about it, and they were pretty they're girls. They're both 6 and 8. they were actually pretty like they don't really see many things like this. So for them to see the Green Goblin, they're like, "Whoa, what's with this guy?" Like it was pretty wild for them. Like my small one, she's like, "Why is he talking himself in a mirror?" I was just like,
Oh, I still remember that scene on Spider-Man 1.
and she actually
Him,
was like terrified, like when Goblin was giving him the beating after the bridge scene. She's like, "Is he
no,
gonna be okay?" I'm like, "He'll be okay. Just
in the
keep
building.
watching."
In the building on fire, that scene, I love it. Even the scream, that lady scream that the goblin does.
Yeah, so they you know she enjoyed they both enjoyed it, and
Oh man,
oh
That's what
dude
was making the noise
oh
before. So
that's
dude
great.
Oh,
oh
let's see.
my
Sorry. Oh, come on.
god.
Got to push him on the. Oh,
Oh,
Does he
that's
need a
good.
cigarette?
yeah. You push the chair.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's
Mark,
funny.
you need to go and like 3D print a version of yourself to fit in the chair.
No, this is actually from Raimi toys from 2002. So
I had original Green Goblin figure. I gotta go back to my parents' house because I still have a one of Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2, and those were very hard to find at the time, and I
yeah, I
somehow
guess.
found one.
Yeah,
And I
sorry.
remember like freaking out and like, oh my god, I actually found it. And of course, I bought it right when it came out because I remember looking at all the stores for that Doc Ock, and then finding one was at the time was a real pain in the suburbs of Illinois. And oh my god, dude, yes,
Oh,
yeah,
Parker. Oh, Clobby can do a better Parker, but I have the desk too. It was
dude.
just dusting
Parker!
it.
Oh my
That's
god,
good.
that was really good,
no.
actually. That was really good. Claudia,
Even
please
the
do that
desk.
again.
What? Oh,
Do that Jonah
I
voice again.
love
what
it.
did, oh,
Yeah.
which Parker? That one? No, that's easy. More like the one from the old cartoon. Peter Parker is a menace, but Spider-Man's a wonderful guy. Oh, I'm sorry, my memory was ripped by Doctor Strange.
Yeah. And then you can the desk, all the stuff on the desk. I was just cleaning it because it was so dusty. But all the stuff is attached to the desk.
Wow.
See
So
that,
you can
Raquel? He
check
was
it.
dusting it.
I was dusting it. Yeah, I was dusting it. I
Yes.
also have this is I think one of the original toys too. But I got so many Spidey toys, but this one's a cool one.
Dude, I had that one.
Oh.
I had that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not joking. I actually did
Dude.
have that. Like, I actually did. Not
So you could pull the string down, and so I have this in the family room on the shelf, or whatever, and then you push the button, and it's kind of worn out now, but yeah,
Itsy spider.
and it comes
All
off.
right.
Yeah.
I want to answer this, DJB2. I'm gonna actually go as far as to make the argument that I think J. Jonah was Alex Jones before there was Alex Jones
Yeah.
without the
Yeah.
frogs
But
attached to
that
it.
take,
I actually
that
hated
take
that
on
part.
that
You know-
take on James Jonah Jameson was not even started on the movies. It was started on the video game for the PS4.
I wish
Because
I
he
wish
has
they would
a-
go and I
Yeah,
wish they would
I
just
hate
get
that
Alex
about-
Jones to voice him for the video games.
You
yeah,
mean the
those
selling the
recordings are-
supplements or the?
Oh, let me see if I can get the recording where he says, "Why will Spider-Man do that? Because he hates us and he wants us to be miserable." So that version of J. Jonah
Oh,
Jameson
hold
is
on. Let me.
Sorry, having fun here.
No,
Parker!
please.
But that's Migos in great shape. Someone found. I think my got this as a gift. It's just like it's mint out of the. I've had it for years, but but we did get a good. I mean, the Jonah is good, but if you don't know AJ, that
Spider-Man's a
Jones
menace.
But I guess they added that. You're saying they added that later, Pablo, where it's like selling supplements, and if you know Alex Jones, I guess you pick up on that reference. Or
yeah.
I don't think most people know who he is, so some people do, obviously. But,
He's like it's like one of those guys
Yeah.
where everyone and no one knows who he is.
Yeah.
Everyone and no one does. It's a very interesting thing because like he was part of the biggest ever Timcast stream ever. Like it was
Yeah.
his first time back on like big live streaming ever when there was like up to 150,000 plus live listening, which obviously
Yeah.
that hit like in the millions, like 10, 15 million, 20 million even. But yeah, at the same time, it's like almost there's so many people who don't even know InfoWars is a thing. It's amazing how you can get to reach so many people, but at the same time, there's still so many. That's got to be a very. It kind of reminds me of the band Tool. So many people have heard Tool, but at the same time, not so many people have not. And yet,
Yeah.
when Tool come to town, they headline arenas. But a lot of
Yeah.
people scratch their heads and say, "Who the hell is Tool?" It's just really interesting how that works out.
Yeah. But I have to say, I'm not an Alex Jones fan. I have to, put that out there. My cousin was a teacher at Sandy Hook, so we've talked about that before. But he did a lot of damage to those families, and I'm all for free speech and not being cut off from media, and I'm a huge free speech guy. But what he did there to some of those families, or what he caused, really went over the line and did a lot of damage. And he recently was found, guilty of that and had to pay a big fine. And so, there's limits to free speech too, in terms of what you can do. And, so when he came out and said, initially he's recanted it, but he said, this didn't happen. It was a false flag. And, my cousin's a teacher at that school, and, knowing the horrors of that day and what, those families and how that personally affected people. So, I just want to, put that out there and,
oh, you're good, dude.
Yeah.
I'm just glad. I mean, I can understand how you feel. That is a very fair reason. I do accept that he understands the error of his ways as well. I know he talked about where he went wrong. So and that's God. Unlike CNN, we're just gonna name drop them.
Yeah.
They will make 100 mistakes, and rather than acknowledge any single one of them, they'll just keep going on. I will at least give Alex Jones credit for recognizing the error of his mistake and just owning it, and just, I guess you could say, trying to move on from it and just trying to make sure that shit doesn't repeat, because we're not going to see that from CNN.
Yeah,
we're never going to see that.
An important lesson to learn and to think before you speak. And it's we're lucky here to be on YouTube and be able to have a voice, and it's awesome to hang out with you guys. And of course, someone like an Alex Jones or Tim Pool, I love watching. Anyone in the media, right? That's got a lot of people listening, has a responsibility too. So and that's why we trust certain people, and that's why you should always be skeptical too, and always ask questions, and think about what what people are saying, and don't always believe everything. Always question everything. I think that's a good way to, no right, left, doesn't matter. I don't care what your politics are. We can see what's happening with the vid and other things we can't talk about, right? That we don't, because of what happened on YouTube. But always question, and that's why I am a huge supporter of free speech. But there's certain things you got to be, that you really got to be careful. I think,
You know who I thought was doing a great job before he went bananas? Ben Gillette. When he had the show Bullshit, that show was actually really good and was really pointing to the shit that was going on and to the cultist mentality on anything. Because that's the part that actually destroys whatever you're trying to do. But then he went full cultist.
Then he went bullshit. He turned to bullshit.
Yep. Well, that's why I loved, Meet the Press, Tim Russert, because he would give I'm a political junkie, not when I'm talking about comics.
Russert was a fair guy.
But he would always, anyone that came on, he gave him a hard time, right? But he gave everyone equally a hard time, and you had to know your stuff. You couldn't BS your way around a Tim Russert interview. So I really miss someone like that in the press, where everyone respected him, and you weren't going to get those softball questions. So it was a big loss to lose someone like that in the mainstream media who asks questions that now people are asking on YouTube. That's why all these alternative voices are so popular, I think, on talk radio, and because then you can get different opinions out there, where before you just there was no one voicing opinions.
I remember Bill Maher used to be like that, where you would see him willing to push back, and then he just got blinded by the Trump aid, by the same mainstream narrative stuff, and became unwatchable.
So, comic books. Are we gonna talk comic books?
Let me just
never heard of them.
Never heard of them. Yep.
Let me share this. You are gonna get a kick.
Share away, Pablo. Let's get back into comics.
See, you let this Mark D into the show, and what happens? Yep.
Okay, this is one of the J. Jonah Jameson
Mark,
Can
you
you
should
hear
have
it?
brought pictures of Spider-Man.
Folks, you've no doubt heard about the riot at Empire State University. But this is not your usual toxic mix of underage drinking,
Should we pause it every
entitled
10
millennials,
seconds?
and hormones run.
So
That's
Sony
a
doesn't
video
flag
game.
me.
That's a video game, or that's
Yeah,
This
a
is
movie.
from
this is
the
based off the
PS4 video game.
PS4 game.
Yep.
Jonah runs a podcast. It's very much like Alex Jones. And
Yeah.
Rampant. Authorities are keeping a tight lid on the situation, but my sources tell me the demons drugged the students, turning them into deadly rage machines. What has become of our fair city, ladies and gentlemen, when we have to fear our own children,
pause it.
our neighbors?
Okay. Interestingly, the funniest part is, I mean, I know we acknowledge Alex Jones making his mistake, but there have been a lot more instances lately where he's becoming more and more right, which is unfortunate because I
Yeah.
want more of what you say to be wrong. But this is one of those parts where the stuff that J. Jonah Jameson is saying is actually true because we have what's his name, Mr. Negative, actually demonized. So Jonah is actually speaking literal facts. This is not one of those like alternative or fake things.
This
Obviously, the guy
game-
goes crazy at times, but
There's two
he is
games
right.
that does that really, really well. Is this game and Deus Ex Human Revolution. There you can hear a guy that is talking about the Illuminati and the world order and everything. And then when you play the game, you're actually discovering those conspiracies and everything, and it's real.
You know, they say that every time someone mentions Deus Ex, someone somewhere in the world reinstalls Deus Ex.
Oh, please do. It's a great game.
All right, I want to lay out this. Go ahead, pause this
Be
real quick. I
vigilant.
want to answer this.
Be on guard.
Isaj, if that's how you answer it. I have not had a chance to listen to it yet, but I plan on it. I'm gonna try to listen to it tonight before I pass out. I will have a verdict for you by Monday when I yell at parked cars, and that's a promise. All right, go on, Pablo.
And keep a close eye on that barista with the man bun making your skinny latte, or you could be next. Friends, there's a fine line between being a conspiracy theorist and seeing a clear pattern. I walk that line, and I am confident in perceiving a common thread among these attacks on Oscorp and Norman Osborn by the demons. The motive? It's hard to ascribe motive to lunatics, but I suspect it's no accident that they're striking at both a pillar of our corporate community and the center of our city's government. It's our very way of life that's under assault, as I have always warned. If you
Man,
Dude, it's so funny how much you can draw the parallels.
right?
It really is. It is really funny how that happens.
If you haven't
love
heard, if you don't have a PS4, there's this video is every single one of the podcast audios. Just hear it and you will laugh and you will get, what the hell? There's even one in the game. You get on a point where the whole city of New York is on quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
And James Jonah Jameson is talking about current situation on a game that is previous of current year. So,
well, didn't they go in and patch it and add in people wearing masks like last year?
really? Oh, god damn it!
Yeah.
Oh,
Pretty
that's
sure they did.
horrifying. Seriously, that is horrifying if they went there. Like, that's something you should not be doing. That's like, by doing that, you're setting off a precedent that this should just be a thing that just happen. Like, that's I hope not. I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt, but and D-Butt here says Paul Kligman from the 67 cartoon. See, those are amazing. I can respect that take. I really can, because J.K. Simmons, he's one of those guys where I hope I'm gonna be that guy here, but I truly feel like I hope they retire the character with him. I truly hope they retire the character. I understand there are roles that are meant to be to be replaced, like a Batman, aka James Bond thing. But there's something about when J.K. Simmons is just on screen and he dials into that character. There's just sometimes the shoe fits a little bit too well, and this is one of those instances. And I hope it goes away with him. It's just at that point, don't recast him. Just create a new character if you have to. This is J.K. Simmons' guy. This is his
But
character. Let him live with it and
but
die with it.
before you do though, you have to have him paying for Matt Gargan's operation to become the Scorpion, and we need to see that on screen and laugh out loud.
Well, that's. I guess since we're here, I guess we could talk about how I truly feel like. I don't want to get into. We can't go into detail. We'll have to say that conversation for a few days, but I truly do feel like there may be, because of Sony's involvement, there may be a very optimistic future going forward.
Yep.
And
With
that's
Spider-Man,
weird because a few years ago, Sony, on a movie sense, were madly on the decline. I don't know if they've changed the personnel who's involved, but I feel like maybe they've gotten to realize after what was, I guess you could say, a mixture of the Amazing Spider-Man movies failing and Ghostbusters 2016 failing. Now they have been trying to make money, whether it's movies like this or the Venom movies or Afterlife or Bad Boys for Life. They're trying to make movies, and that's good, and that's what Sony should be doing anyways, and that's what all studios should be aspiring to do. So hopefully they keep that up, and I can't believe I'm saying it, but man, if you had told me in 2019 that Sony's gonna be turning the tides as far as trying to actually make money on movies, I would have never believed you. But here we are, just 2 years later, and now we're entertaining that conversation. Now we are. And Dragon Master, does J.K. Simmons voice JJJ in the Ultimate? I don't know if he did the Ultimate, but I know he did there's a short 2-season one that was on MTV2, I think, 2002 through 2004. He did the voice for. He did do that one. So his voice did carry on at
the only thing I remember about that was it had Neil Patrick Harris voicing Peter Parker.
Peter Parker, yes. Neil Patrick Harris is Peter Parker.
That was the one, okay.
Yes.
Well, I think the reason that Spider-Man was in the MCU eventually was because the Amazing Spider-Man movies had failed, right? They're dismal failures. So and Sony and Marvel had a negotiating tool then too to say, hey, give us. I guess they worked out some kind of deal where they're obviously sharing money between the two studios, but. Was this totally a Marvel movie, or who had creative control?
It takes place in the MCU. It's still not been clear who has complete control, but I do know as far as the profits go, Sony gets 75% of it, and then Marvel/Disney gets 25%.
It's a joint effort.
I do know that.
Yeah. It is a joint effort.
A joint effort. Okay.
As you notice, it'll say Sony Pictures in association with Marvel Studios.
You're right.
What have you.
There.
Yeah. So
I wonder who's calling the shots on the story and I guess, or maybe the Feige's in charge. Yeah. Yep. So
no.
Because Sony hasn't made a good Spider-Man movie yet, right?
Well, but Feige, probably doesn't like. He probably puts it off on Sony, but he could probably change anything he doesn't like. Let's put it like that.
Yeah. Because I know we don't want to. I'm sure you're not talking about spoilers or anything.
No, we're not
for the movie. So, but I think everyone really loved the movie, which is for the most part, I think some people were raising some plot points in it, but
those are good questions.
Like your video, yeah. I mean, your video today, you're just showing about how much money it's making, Nick. I mean, it's just making money hand over fist. So, I think it could make more money than like a Turtles, I think, over the weekend and the whole run.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, Mark, and I'm going to bounce off that same because on the Thursday night showings between Eternals, Feng Shui, because I said Feng Shui like the furniture, and Black Widow put together, all three of those movies put together.
Oh yeah,
don't even amount to. They don't even together. They don't rival Spider-Man, and obviously. I've heard people try to use the argument, but lesser known characters, like if Guardians of the Galaxy had never come out, that would not matter, but Guardians of the Galaxy has said otherwise.
Yep.
And so it's just like, that's no longer an argument anymore. It's almost good that Guardians of the Galaxy just came out for the sole purpose of that argument's sake. Once again, hindsight being 2020. But we're saying also, you got to factor in, here's the thing, whether how much you liked or did not like Holland going into this movie, or maybe not Holland, but I guess the writing of his character going into it. there were fans there. That's just the brutal truth. There's fans there of the home trilogy. There's also the fact that you got the worst kept secret ever coming. You got those crowds coming in. You also got people who are just going to see MCU because it's MCU. So you put all those variables. Some obviously there's going to be some crossover between all those three bunches, but then you got the normies on top of it. You're adding all these variables together, and that makes a big concoction to say, okay, you know what? I've not gone to a movie in a long time. I'm gonna go see this one. This is gonna be my one flick. And
So,
go ahead, Iron.
Just kind of as a quick thought I was having.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that Morbius is going to have a similar sort of hype for it? Because it seems to me that movie, in a similar vein, it has more excitement for it than most of the MCU stuff. I mean, aside from Spider-Man.
Not really.
I think it's going to have the similar numbers as Venom. Can I? I just want to make a comment.
No, go for it.
As much as I love Superman, as much as I love Batman, the most recognizable comic book superhero in the world is Spider-Man. He is the everyman. He's approachable. Kids love him. He's got the great costume. He's got the great colors. He's got the great background. He's got a cool power set. He's got a cool comic book. Like, this is the character that probably is the most recognizable comic book in today's society, mostly because let's not forget that the MCU has also aggrandized him quite a bit. He's become an Avenger. He's become right up there with Captain America, Superman, Iron Man, all those recognizable characters that are in comics today. He is the man. If he doesn't make $1 billion in this movie, I'm shocked. Even in a COVID atmosphere.
Oh yeah,
this is a great,
more recognizable.
He is
not just Corona atmosphere, but let's not forget also, even without China, it's going to at the least make 750 mil worldwide, even without China.
Oh, he's making $1 billion. No, he's making $1 billion.
Hey, I hope he does.
It'll hit $1 billion.
I hope it does. I really genuinely hope.
No question.
Genuinely speaking, I want it to hit $1 billion.
I would be shocked.
It's great if it does without China too.
Just to prove.
It won't without China, though.
We don't need them. Anything, if we're going to even work with or consider negotiate them, that's just an icing on the cake bonus.
And that coming from a non-Spider-Man fan. I'm not a Spider-Man fan at all.
Oh, yes.
But I recognize how important he is to the comic industry.
To the culture.
I'm completely the contrary. I'm a huge fan of Spider-Man. I love when he was on Civil War. I thought that was actually really fun. Then I really liked Homecoming. For me, was a really cool movie. There was this great moment when he is in his normal suit, done by himself under the rubble, and that's a callback to an old comic, and that moment felt really, really Spider-Man. But then on Infinity War was more like a jokey character. On Endgame was just this small moment, and on how was the other movie even called? Far From Home. Yeah. I didn't like that movie at all. I hated that movie.
The one with Mysterio. Yep.
Yeah.
Awful movie.
I have not seen
really terrible movie. But I love Spider-Man. I don't love the modern comics. I stopped liking it just on one more day. That's the moment when Spider-Man died for me.
Well, I was pretty upset with that last movie, Pablo, because Mysterio is my favorite spider villain, period, bar none. He's an underutilized, underappreciated super villain that could dominate if he was written properly, and that movie just it threw him out the window. I wasn't very happy with that movie. So
and you need to pair him movie. If you are going to do something really crazy, get him with the Chameleon.
Oh, there's a good one. I actually bought the Hot Toys though, because that Hot Toys figure of
really
Mysterio is the figure of 2021. That is so awesome.
Oh, he looked good in the movie, but they just
he looked good. Yep.
Yeah, the story was I didn't like. There was too much of Mr. Stark, and also there was a lot of him not being able to accept responsibility, and
And
that
as much
was
as
the core of
everybody
that.
appreciated how Jake Gyllenhaal was a great casting, I think it was a terrible casting for Mysterio.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was.
He's
What
not
didn't you
this.
like about him?
Yeah,
Nick, you're
well, he's
muted.
not this greasy actor, like super handsome kind of guy. He's the hard-working actor type.
Kind of like a Nick Cage,
Yeah.
maybe, or I'm trying
Oh,
to
that's
think
a better choice. Yeah, yeah.
They could play kind of a Weasley kind of character. Yeah.
You know, it's such a shame we never did get Bruce Campbell as Mysterio.
That would have
Yeah.
been something.
That'd have been good.
That would've
That's
been
an
something,
interesting choice, actually.
right?
Well,
I
mean,
can actually see that.
Was that the speculation from the first
Yeah.
two Raimi
yeah,
movies?
that was the rumors were going that he was going to play Mysterio in the fourth
Spider-Man 3
Four.
Spider-Man 3 or 4.
or
The
Amazing
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
Raimi.
3 or whatever.
No,
Yeah,
not the amazing. The Tobey
No,
Maguire.
the
Yeah,
Ro-
yeah,
yeah,
Ra-
yeah,
Ra-
yeah. The Tobey Maguire one.
You know who was my
Yeah.
dream cast, and up to this moment, if they are going to do Carnage on the MCU, they need to go with Jim Carrey. For me, that is the best Carnage you can have. He's slim, he's crazy, and he know how to laugh.
But didn't they already have Carnage? I mean, who was Carnage in? I didn't watch the new Venom movie. but
Woody
It was
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson.
yeah, Venom 2 was bad. It was,
Yeah, it was
was
Cheers
bad.
guy.
yeah.
Yeah, Woody.
I didn't know. I saw it basically as a moment in time, just to pass the time seeing it. I didn't hate it, but I didn't necessarily love it. It was just kind of there for me. It was a fun turn your brain off 90 minutes, and I think it knew that it wanted to be that because watch it. It was like it felt pretty self aware that it said, okay, this is our action movie equivalent of a horror movie. You know how you have horror movies where they say just turn your brain off and go with it. This is like the action Marvel in association with Sony equivalent of that. And that said, it was dumb fun, and that's about where I'd stand with it. It could, as far as substance, it could use a whole lot more of it. The movie could have been a whole 20 minutes longer, and I would have been all about it. There's so much that they could have done, like as far as added substance. It makes me wonder how much did they actually cut. Well, the world may never know. And yes, D-Bud, I will agree on that Woody is too old for the part.
So it's the kind of movie that's really much better if you're on like 3 or 4 beers when you're watching it. That kind of like.
Oh
you know,
yeah,
it's just like a
something you
throwaway
pass out
movie.
to.
Yeah, this is my
Yeah.
issue with Venom 2. Carnage was not Carnage. Carnage is he's basically the Joker, but in a red suit. If you wanna be honest,
It was
He's-
PG-13.
Oh, it's PG.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Cletus
also
Cassidy's a
Carnage
sick,
was-
twisted, serial killer. So
yeah, he was this red blob. He was not this crazy guy that wants to actually see suffering, and that's the part that makes me love Carnage on the comics and on the 90s cartoon. That he's basically just laughing out while killing people, and when he's faced with a superhero or even another villain, he's like, hey, you are stopping me from having fun, I will kill you. That is Carnage, and that's why he has so much
Potential?
pull. Yeah, is even in the, I don't know if you have ever played the PS1 Spider-Man game.
Oh, I played it too, where he had the monster rock at the end.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
I played that game religiously. I still know the
it was
code to
great.
unlock everything. It was Eelnats, aka Stanley backwards.
Getting the comics and everything.
Yeah,
Man.
finding the old
Yeah.
comic book. You had to go look for the old comic book icons.
Yeah.
Tell you information about that old issue, dude.
And you
Trust me,
had the Stan
that was
Lee
that was my
talking to you.
religion. That game. That was my
Man,
religion.
Yeah, that game was awesome. But first you had to face Carnage, and it was Cletus Cassidy Carnage. It was crazy, over the top, loud. Then you have to face the Octopus Carnage. That is Doctor Octopus plus Carnage. And
Did you
then-
unlock Namor in that Carnage level? Did you unlock Namor?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
No, I have something to do. Man, I love that game.
Right?
Um,
It's so good.
Yeah, on that fight, you see Carnage not in Cassidy, but is still that manic way of moving and that manic way of talking. And Otto Octavius, that is a brilliant mind, is falling to the madness of Carnage. That is how powerful that madness is. He will bend and become a joker of anyone if he can. So, let's say if he ever got hold of Peter Parker, you will see a different kind of quips while killing people.
Mr. Grant Gregor is so right. You could web sling off the cloud. That was in Amazing Spider. No, sorry, not Amazing, but in Spider-Man 1, based off the first Sam Raimi flick, you could just web sling basically through the clouds, or
Off the
even in the
clouds.
PS1 game.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until Spider-Man 2 where he actually had to web sling off the builds. They actually made that a thing for Spider-Man 2. You had to web sling, off the buildings. I
Had
thought
to
that
hit
was
something, yeah.
yeah, you actually had to hit something. I thought, wow, they're going there, which of course, logically speaking, made sense. So I was like, okay, I can get with that. So it was a cool, nice feature to see happen. I was all about it. So
I got to show you my first Spider-Man game that I played. If you let
Oh,
me share this
yeah,
screen.
yeah.
This is
have at it.
ancient. This was Amazing Spider-Man, Captain America, Doctor Doom's
Oh.
Revenge. So 1989, I had this for my PC, and I mean, totally, pixelated, but it's
Was
just
that
such
on the
cool.
Amiga?
It was PC. I had it on the PC. I don't know if it went anywhere else, but they had like comic book art, during the game as like the story, and then you had, here's Spider-Man, in the. Let's see if we got a bigger picture here. But here's some of the panels in the game. So just look
And
at
this
those
is one of those
graphics,
games
guys.
you just cannot get today because licenses are lost along the
Yep.
way.
I still have it actually. I still have the box. I still have the floppies. I don't know if I still. Yeah. But this is what
Okay.
we.
Guys,
this is
who's
what
your
we
money
have.
on? Amazing Spider-Man or Robot?
Oh, Robot, dude. It's Robot.
This was a
my
fun game
God.
back then. But yeah, this
You-
was like, and I was like, we were talking about how cool the graphics were and how good it was. It's like,
Remember Arcade's Revenge, Spider-Man and X-Men Arcade's Revenge? That was when arcade was relevant. Who nowadays, he'll worry about arcade. But I remember at the time, like I knew who Arcade was just because of that game.
and was he on the X-Men cartoon a bunch of times too, or back in the? I'm trying to remember.
He
Not
definitely
that I
wasn't
remember.
on Spider-Man. He definitely was not on Spider-Man.
He was on. I think he was on the X-Men cartoon. Maybe I'm trying to remember. Yeah. But yeah, this is
In-
obviously McFarlane influenced art. It
In
looks
the
like a little bit.
series,
Oh, yeah.
you saw there was Iron Man, there was
in the '90s animated series.
yeah, in the 90s
Yeah,
animated
Punisher,
series.
you had Daredevil, you had Black Cat,
Doctor
the
Strange.
Fantastic Four. You had I'm trying to think here, who else? Yeah, the Doctor Strange episode was really good.
Yeah.
God, let me think. Blade.
They actually
Blade.
mixed the Doctor Strange episode with a bit of the Clone Saga, so is basically the Chameleon and Dormammu.
Mm-hmm. Oh, those are good. Yeah, Blade. The Blade.
Oh, yeah.
that was my introduction to Blade. I'm trying to recollect my. Of course, you had God, Captain America. Of course, when you had when Spider-Man teamed up with all the geezers, and Electro was in there, but except they gave Electro some weird Russian name in it. so he could be linked to the Red Skull because Captain America fought the Red Skull. God, I'm trying to think here. And then I remember they made, instead of Roderick Kingsley, they made Jason
No,
Macendale being the Hobgoblin. It was Jason Macendale who was the Hobgoblin. I'm trying to refresh my memory here. I do love what episodes? They had the Kid Who Collects Spider-Man, except it was a little girl, and it was a two-parter. It was with Doc Ock involved, and
yeah,
you
yeah,
had a
yeah, yeah, when-
similar ending. You had a similar ending. I think they called it Make a Wish or something. But it was based off that comic, The Kid Who Collects Spider-Man.
Yeah, in that episode of the series, you actually hear how the webbing works. That it
Yes.
dissolves after 2 hours and everything. So
Oh,
yeah, I
remember that
remember.
now.
Yeah, it was crazy good.
Or even War Machine because when Spider-Man
Yeah.
was fighting Venom, and all of a sudden War Machine gets involved, and you're like, oh crap, it's War Machine, and then it was just like, man, that brought back some bad memories. I remember when that was brand new, Saturday morning, eating my giant bowl of Spider-Man animated series cereal, seeing that play out. I'm like, whoa!
In
And
my
then Iron
country, it
Man
was
shows up, and there's Dormammu and Baron Mordo. I'm like, whoa!
in my country was after school, so I remember eating lunch and watching that series. And man, so many. Do you remember the Craven the Hunter episodes?
Oh, I love them. I
Oh, it's
loved all
great.
because he that was more of like he had like a relationship thing based where about Calypso.
Yeah,
It's all about
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Calypso,
yeah,
and
yeah.
also then there's ones involving the Black Cat.
Oh, the Venom ones.
Yeah, yes, the
Mhm.
You
Venom.
know, I remember Kingpin always really stood out in that show.
Yeah, he was the main antagonist, and it was great as an antagonist because he had everybody working for him. Everybody.
Yep,
And I mean, even
everyone.
the Vulture was trying to get something with the Kingpin. Then you have the episode with the Stone Tablet where he returns to being a baby.
I
Yeah.
remember every time, like when I was a kid, because I would look at Spider-Man comics, and I would think about Wilson Fisk being in the Empire State Building. I'm like, why isn't Kingpin at the Empire State Building? Why doesn't he live there? So that was like my real life. If he ain't there, like I'm gonna be mad type of deal. Like, why isn't he there? Why is he at that building?
That building was awesome. It could open and launch fucking machines. There was this scorpion machine with an spider machine and another spider machine, and they will combine and was awesome. Man, that's all toys.
Oh, I know, right, dude? I was all over those Toy Biz figures. Trust me. My first ever one I had was the Lizard. I remember because he had that super plasticky coat on.
Mhm.
And I had Shocker. I had who else did I had? I had Scorpion. I had Doc Ock. Um, God, I had a Peter Parker figure. It was just Peter Parker. I had Hobgoblin. I didn't have Green Goblin, but I had Hobgoblin.
Full
I always wanted
disclosure,
the big old man spider.
I had that. I had that. I
Oh,
full
remember.
disclosure.
Remember when Kmart was relevant?
Yeah,
yeah.
Kmart was so relevant that they had a super Kmart. I got Man
I
Spider from
remember seeing the
there,
sticker.
and I'm gonna get all. I had that, but I really did. And so so
Oh
Man
man.
Spider. I'm like, oh my god, I need to have Man Spider. I had this Cyborg Spidey. God, you're sorry. You're pretty. I had Hydro Man. I did have Hydro Man.
Man, I never had an original Spider-Man toy on that time. I used to buy those bootleg. It was a good bootleg with a lot of articulations and everything, but the joints were metallic and there was a lot of issues. But man, I always wanted those series toys, and I remember seeing in the toy store the Scorpion, that mechanical scorpion, and I
Yeah.
was fascinated. It was beautiful, just beautiful.
Deep on your kids' house toy stuff. See that was when my Mickey Mouse voice was my everyday voice. I better have my figures, Daddy. Give me my figures. I gotta go to KB Toys because that's where I got them. Give me
I
my
used to get so
figures,
much
Daddy.
stuff at KBO. When you go by the clearance rack and you
Oh,
see
yeah.
what's there for like $3,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
destroy Star Wars.
My grandfather used to go to the United States for some things on work, and he used to buy me toys on KB. So I remember the sticker that they used to have on the packaging
Mm-hmm.
on one of the toys that I still have from Pirates of the Black Waters.
Dude, do you remember the Spider Slayers? I had the collection of all three Spider
Oh
Slayers.
yeah.
I had that one. I had that. I had the Daily Bugle set because I was always into the big sets. Like I had the Spider Slayers, and I remember I think I got the Spider Slayers. I think it was 96. I remember because and I had to remember this specific year of mine because I think it was around 96. Yeah, I was at the Super Kmart. We were there weekly, and we were around 15 minutes away from this venue called the United Center when a certain Michael Jordan era Chicago Bulls played, and 9-year-old Nick was running around, and all of a sudden I hit this leg and I fall on the ground, and I look up and this guy helps me get back up, and it turns out to be Scottie Pippen from the Chicago Bulls.
Wow.
Yeah, 9-year-old Nick. Yeah, got picked up by Scottie Pippen. He's like, "Hey, you okay?"
Wow.
I'm like, yeah. Oh my god, you're like, I was like, "Oh my god, you're Scottie Pippen!" Like, yeah, it was just like it was absolutely crazy, and he was.
So
just
you're the
getting
reason
shoes for
Scottie
the game.
Pippen couldn't come off the bench in that game because you hurt his back.
So he was there to get shoes for the upcoming game they had that day. He went there to get shoes for that day. So I remember I will never forget that moment ever. Like the fact he was there at Kmart. That's how huge Kmart was that Scottie Pippen had to go there to get his shoes. 15 minutes away from the stadium. He's like, I need some shoes, man. Like yeah. Never forget, guys. Never forget.
Never. That's right.
Yeah. No, but
For
those
sure.
Toy Biz, that Toy Biz line was just absolutely legendary. I remember at the time I would see, God, it was crazy because I see like some of the Fantastic Four figures, the X-Men figures, and it's just like, man, Toy Biz were just putting out Marvel figures left and right. They were like trying to like create a Marvel universe of their own. At the time, obviously, it came to life in varying degrees of success or lack thereof, depending on the perspective. But I'm now in the 2020s hunting for some of those Silver Surfer anime series, and I want to blame Mark D with a C for
Yep.
having that amazing
Yes.
Beta Ray
Grab that one.
Bill. Fuck you, by the way.
Yeah,
Oh God, here he is now. Yes,
sorry.
rub it in. No,
Rub it
don't
in,
you
rub it
get
in, yes,
Rub it
obey
in,
you.
rub it in, rub it in.
Well, I bought one of
damn
these
it.
for my nephew because he saw it and he loved it so much. So I bought.
I hate you so much,
That's
but I'm
And
glad
MVP
you're
was
showing
saying
it.
the new Beta Ray Bill series is really good, or it was out this year.
Oh,
or
Legends.
I haven't read it, but
The
it
art
was
sucks,
good.
but the story was cool.
Okay.
I actually, I'm gonna have to disagree with thought. I kind of like the art. It was very rock and rollish to me.
It was very kindergarten to me.
I can see why
Ah.
if he didn't like it. I can empathize with it. But I love when he would get into fights. He would do a lot of the 66 Batman bam pow sounds. There would be a lot of the sounds. So I love that
Man,
aspect of Daniel Warren Johnson's art. I love that he went for the like fight.
Oh,
Who would win?
or-
I just
I'm not
wrote
answering that.
something. This is something
Trick
that
question.
nobody's talking about on No Way Home that I think is really relevant.
Oh,
That movie has a lot of potential for selling toys.
dude.
That movie is made to sell toys.
If there is
Yeah.
not a new Doc Ock or Green Goblin figure that doesn't come out,
Oh yeah.
like
Yeah, I want all the Spideys. I
yeah,
want Marvel
I'll take a
Legends, all the
Spider-Man.
Spideys.
I want the last Spidey we saw.
I want Doctor
Yeah.
Strange.
Go.
Yeah.
We'll just say
Strange
last
is
Yes,
the
I
Spider-Man
hope
big
they.
actually.
I hope they bring back the Spidey Meagle. We want to see this guy on the screen again, right?
No.
Chloe,
The Doctor
This is what we gotta
Strange.
bring back.
The Doctor Strange is up for pre-order. That Doctor Strange from that movie is up for
Oh,
pre-order.
is it? Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out.
But
It
wasn't
actually
Az
looks
saying-
pretty cool, but it's not classic Strange. It's MCU Strange. But
Okay.
I didn't.
Great.
I passed on the first hot toy, but I'm telling you, he's got a whole bunch of. He's like this. He's got this table with some of his spells. You know that spell that he. Oh wait, am I going to spoil? Well, no. Everybody's seen the trailer, right? The spell he casts
Oh
about
my god. yeah.
the whole situation. I'm going to be as vague as possible. So he does that. There's a couple of like spell effects that they have as part of the toy that just look outstanding. And so I'm kind of humming and hawing at the I think it's like $280 or whatever for the hot toy. I'm like, oh, it's
Buy
a
it.
tough one to
But
if as and Robert Myers Burnett have their way, what they say in all of their live streams is the answer is always yes.
Oh yeah,
Always
right.
yes.
I love that. The answer is always yes.
Well, that wasn't as talking about it's a spoiler figure, but he was talking about buying a figure today, like when he saw the movie.
Yes.
So yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to mute
looking at
myself, but this
the-
actually plays this theme, so I'll play like 2 seconds and mute myself. But if you push the button, it's an alarm clock, a Spidey clock, so I'll mute myself just so I
I
don't get in
need
trouble.
Here, let me here. Oh,
Mark
yeah.
muted
yourself for a
himself.
second.
That's got
I
to be
think,
at first.
I think he did that on purpose.
Yeah, just because.
Yeah, he did that on purpose. He did that on purpose.
Yeah, because you don't want to
alarm
get
clock playing, so I just wanted to play. I think a couple of seconds is okay, you know.
All right.
But, yeah, it's a Spidey alarm clock, so it's fun. Yeah, so it's,
All right.
too
let
bad we
me-
can't play that, but yeah.
Let me answer this real quick for Courtney. Yeah, I'd love to be on. I don't know if you're on Minds or Twitter, but I'm pretty active on there. I know you have Discord. Just message me. It might take me a day or two to get to it because I do respond to Discord messages a few days late, but I will respond to it. We'll set up a time. That would be great. I'd love to do that. Yeah, the answer is always yes, and their wallets are always empty. No, as Morpheus said in the Matrix, some things are worth fighting for. And I'm glad I scored this one recently. I had this when I was a kid, and I need to get it again. And I'm so glad I got it again.
Oh,
I put them in this.
I've got that.
I've got that. Yeah, but I've got that. Yeah.
Remember,
That
Claudia,
cape
that's
is
an
amazing.
incredible figure.
Oh, I
The
love
figure's
the
incredible.
cape. I love the
Yeah.
cape. The cape is
Because
one
You
of my
can
big.
stand up. The cape's bigger than him, so you can actually use the
He's
cape.
like he's
Yeah.
floating.
I
Except
love that. I remember when I opened out the box again, it
Yeah.
brought me back to when it came back. I'm like, it was like kind of surreal. I'm just like, wow, I can't believe I own this again. Like it was a big deal. And now, of course, this
it's a
one
nice
is from,
shape too. Yeah.
from the Legends line, but it's still a really nice one. J. Jonah Jameson's one of
Yep.
my favorite supporting characters
Got
of
that
all
one
time.
too.
Got the newspaper in the hand too, like the bugle.
I need to show you. Let me get.
Yeah, go
that
ahead and get
image.
it. Show your toys, Pablo. Let's see those toys.
It's a toy that I want to get, man. And
Oh.
it's $40. I may have to fork it. I don't know.
Just
I
do
don't
it.
have that money, but
Dude, just RMB. Just think about what would RMB do.
Yeah, he'd send me money to buy stuff. No, just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. R&B's got the money to do it.
hey, man, if only I was sexy, I could sell my body.
All right,
That's all I
Dark
say.
Skip. Yes, is that from KB Toys? Doctor Strange. Yes. That looked like no pun
Yes.
intended from RMB. Yes. Like that is exactly from there.
Yes is the word. Yes is the word of the day.
Dragon Master, I gotta go get ready, but for bad fun, I'll say, dude. Hey, Dragon Master, have a good night. Cheers and beers,
Night, man.
sir. I'll
Later,
see you on-
DMs 360.
Thank you for hanging out with us. I will see you in the chats on Midnight's Edge, and I will see you on Yelling at Parked Cars.
Well, I will say this thing about Doctor Strange. He's one of my all-time favorite Marvel classic characters.
Go on.
That outfit is just classic Kirby kind of 60s like psychedelic drugs kind of costume. The problem I have is we all know, we've probably all know about the Death of Doctor Strange series that's out, where
Yeah.
the new Sorcerer Supreme is going to be his ex-wife, Clay. Yeah, and
God
I
damn it.
love the character. I haven't really seen her done well in 30 years. Well, maybe more like 40 years.
Probably.
I don't understand this whole strategy that comic books are having right now to have strong feminine characters take over the mantles of the previous male characters. I really truly feel that she's a strong character on her own. Why does she have to look exactly like him? She's got the costume, she's got the cape, she's got everything. Why can't she just be a regular Sorcerer Supreme without following in his footsteps. I understand why. It's marketing. They want people to recognize her as a recognizable character and like, oh, this is a female version. But I think they're just burning their bridges. All those diehard fans that love the comics are walking away, and the ones that are left, I'm surprised they even sell 20,000 issues a month.
What's the
All right.
highest selling issue right
Hold
now?
on.
Too,
I
as well?
gotta clear up some detail. Darth Scipio, hey, have a good evening. Thanks for hanging out. And Rudy said, this is not the movie, by the way, Rudy. We're talking comic books in case there was any sort of
Yeah,
confusion.
that's in the comics.
Yeah, and the title's The Death
Yeah.
of Doctor Strange, so it's not like there's a spoiler
So,
on
well, just
the
in
title
case,
either.
just in case Rudy didn't catch on, I want to clarify.
Always a good
for
idea to kind of
what I shared, that's the figure that I want is $40, man. Will you say that's a fair price for that figure?
That's kind of expensive, I think. How old is that figure? Migos are
No,
about
I
$20
think
new.
This here,
but-
that's 40. It's not that much at the Target. Not that I would ever buy it for obvious reasons, because Stanley. But
20, 25. I don't know what the prices are like where you are.
I've seen it
Pablo,
for like
so,
$20 at Target. I saw.
Yeah, it's normally double that you will pay on the United States. So
Yeah, then it's probably about right then. Yeah.
The number one selling issue in September of 2021 in 1,000 units is Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters, number 4, 149. So that's 149,000.
Well, it's not bad, actually. Not bad, actually.
Amazing Spider-Man issue 73 was number 2 at 138,000.
But
yeah, but let's not forget
way down from the prime, like when you were selling 400 to 800,000.
A million.
Just
we're talking
or
like
million.
2,
Yeah,
3
yeah.
million.
That's a couple of titles. There, a lot of them are far, far, far lower than that. Though.
Let's not forget that Amazing Spider-Man issue 73 had like 6 covers. And so you have variant covers. So when you're looking at I think a lot of these comic shops are absorbing a lot of that. So if you have, I don't know, 5,000 comic shops, is there even that many left out there anymore? Times 6 titles, that's 30,000 right there. So when a fifth of your titles are absorbed by the comic shops, and the regular customer is not going to buy 6 different variant covers. They're going to pick one or 2.
I only bought one.
I buy one. One, and so because you have Batman issue 112, Dark Ages, Extreme Carnage, TMNT, The Last Ronin actually has got 97,000. So that was number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th. So in the top 10, it was number 9, TMNT, The Last Ronin issue 4 in September.
As it should
So
be,
but that's
Way
really
down,
sad because you're
sad,
looking at the top 10 comics don't make 1 million units.
Shit, man.
And they should be selling like crazy. Think of how popular Spider-Man is, just evidenced by this movie this weekend. Because people are going to see the movie on Thursday night and basically Friday, not on word of mouth. They're going because they love Spider-Man, right? Because Turtles, probably could have, there's no interest in the Turtles, so the second week it falls off. But like you were saying about Guardians of the Galaxy, people love that movie and it got the word of mouth. So obviously got that MCU bump, that first weekend. But everyone went home and I told everyone, "Damn, this movie's awesome! You gotta go see it." So there's no excuse for a Turtle. They're trying to say it's the vid or whatever, but people just love Spider-Man. So that's why it's a shame that it doesn't translate into the comics. But then the comics, most of them aren't up to snuff either. They're not. When the MCU was at its peak, a kid would go to buy the comic, and Thor wasn't. Thor was in his own separate title.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You had Ironheart.
They've done way too much damage to make everything confusing. And I will let Ironcaster go, and I'm gonna explain to you why they hurt themselves with this. Even if the comics were good, I'm gonna explain why they do the damage to themselves. So Ironcaster, go ahead and plug in your channel real quick.
Well, you can find me over on my channel, Ironcaster, and I'm sure Nick will have it in the description or in a place.
I do. It's in the description. Yeah.
You shooting webs at us?
Yes. I'm gonna send you, if you don't subscribe, you're gonna be sent to the mirror zone. So
You heard
Mirror
him.
dimension.
Sub so you can see his big toys. All right. And okay. Arcaster, hey, thank you for coming on and thank you for being an awesome contributor to the Comic Shop Talk. It's gonna be a weird few weeks not being around doing this, but I will see you in 3 weeks, my friend.
Yep. All right, everyone, have
All right.
have some excellent holidays.
You too.
Have a happy New Year. See you in 2022.
Merry Christmas, buddy.
Take care, brother.
Take
Merry
care. Hope
Christmas.
Santa
And a
brings you
happy New Year.
lots of
Be
big
safe.
robots.
Merry
I didn't hear
Christmas.
that, but yeah.
All right. So I want to bring this up, and this is very important. So okay, the ultimate opportunity Marvel had to actually sell comics, and I thought maybe this is just me living in my one county in the one state in the one suburb town of Illinois seemed to be a problem that translated at least across many towns within the states, or for all I know, several states. So when the Avengers movie hit in May 2012, Marvel in theory had the good idea of relaunching a Avengers #1 with the lineup of the movie in May 2012. You're like, okay, that makes logical sense. So they got the lineup of the movie, for recognizance and whatnot. Well, then at that same time, Marvel couldn't help themselves, comic book wise. They had to have Avengers. They had to have New Avengers. They had to have Avengers World. They had to have Dark Avengers. Some of these I'm being figurative, but I'm just giving a point.
Young Avengers.
Avengers World, Avengers Arena, Young Avengers, like the Avengers of yesterday. And I remember at the weekend after that first Avengers movie hit the box office, I went to my shop on Wednesdays as I always do. And I remember a lot of new people coming in, and I do blame a bit of this on the comic shop they work at. I do give them the fault, but I'll get to that. So I would see a lot of normies that I'd never seen before talk about how they want to come in checking out Avengers comics, and they would see the walls of tiles, and then they would go to the main guy who worked there. So yeah, I want some Avengers comics, and you would be like, oh, well, which one do you want? And this is the part where sometimes I've noticed a lot of the geeks are guilty of being in their own habits, and it's not a bad habit. It's part of the job. We gotta remember when we're dealing with normies, we gotta approach these conversations a little differently. And all of a sudden, all these people who are being asked, "What do you mean? What Avengers?" Well, there's New Avengers, there's Avengers World, Arena, yada yada, all the titles I've already listed. I'm not going to repeat them all, but you get the point I'm trying to get. For all these people are getting really confused and some even overwhelmed. And what happens later? They walk out with nothing. They walk out with nothing. And I've heard of this issue happening all around the planet, or at least several cities across the country. And it's something I would believe it happened, and I believe that. I mean, sure, the guy who worked my store could have brought on the pitch of just pitching the one book, but I think he was maybe just being a tad bit too honest.
Or just saw him some trades, right?
Or so yeah, he kept it simple. I saw the same issue when Logan came on theaters. At the time, and this is where it's Marvel's fault. Marvel had that lore girl being Wolverine at the time, and the guy, and this was a different shop I was going to, because I lived in a different area. He said, well, are you asking for the Old Man Logan miniseries, or are you asking for the current series involving Laura? Once again, for us, that's normal, but for the normie, it's fucking...
Who's Laura?
It's all confusing. And this is, once again, even though I did not ever read the book, I gave credit to Robert Kirkman on this book, even though I never read it. But The Walking Dead had one book. Now, granted, we can make arguments for whether the show went on too long or not. Neither here nor there. A conversation for another day, another panel. But you could at least have that one book and say, okay, do you want to start #1? Or do you want a good jumping on point and go from there, not have that prior knowledge? One book, and The Walking Dead sold at a lot of the shops I was going to in the area. And then my whole gist is less is more. The Walking Dead sold very well off one book, whereas Avengers had 800 books, and they could barely keep almost 100% of them afloat, with maybe one of them selling well. They
Dude,
overkilled it, and they should have done the Walking Dead approach and just kept that one book. That way, the guy who's selling the book is not in his comic habit. He's in the habit of saying, "Oh yeah, well here's the Avengers book right here. This is what it sells monthly.
mm,
New #1." It would have been the one book, and that's how you grab the
mhm.
normie. Just say, "Hey, here's this one book. If I like it, I'll come back for issue 2, #3, #4. Oh, hey, I'm a handful of issues in. What else do you got?" They could have done that, but they didn't. Instead, they overwhelmed everyone right away, and they push people away because people aren't looking to get that invested right away.
Dude,
That's a slow build of a process,
Yeah.
is what
It's
you
the
have
same
to
thing they did
do.
with the X-Men. It got way too complicated. Like,
Yep.
what would you rather buy? Would you rather buy this? See
Oh,
that in the stand, or
Oh,
would you
no.
rather buy?
God.
Would you rather buy that? Look at that art.
That looks nice. Oh.
dude,
But I mean,
Okay,
this is like
that's a real easy answer. You know
it's
that.
something that
but like
something
old
that you were
versus
saying,
new,
Nick.
right? I mean, it's so sad. Like this is
It looks
what
like
new,
Goliath
Yeah.
there on that cover too. That's a good cover.
new
Which
comics.
one's Goliath?
It's,
Oh, on the
it's
left.
Avengers number 45. Yeah, which one's Goliath? Yeah.
Something that you were saying, Nick, and I have seen this trouble not only on comic books, but basically on everything that is nerd related. We are
Mhm.
kinda, I want to say, snobby on a lot of things when it comes to normies coming to our territory,
Mhm.
because not only comic books, you will see that you get and say, "What's the first issue of this?" and someone will throw a snarky, "Huh? Do you don't know this, or you should go." You know that happens on the Linux community too. That happens on the Magic the Gathering community too. I think is we are so accustomed and the other people actually understanding what we are talking about that we don't even care. At one
Mhm.
point it's like you should understand this because I understand this language, but for
Mhm.
most people when we talk about these things are like we are talking on, I don't know, Cantonese.
No, I get it. And here's the thing, like for us, yes, that's easy. We're already in, we're invested. It's just more of the how do you reach out to those new people who normally
Yep.
wouldn't. And it does take a few extra steps with them. Guys like you and I, Pablo, we're built for this. So we dive in a little easier, a little quicker. We want to be all in. It's just we're not everyone's cut from the same cloth. So despite what the word here, I guess we'll say politicized science likes to tell you, we are not all exactly the same. Some of us do
Yep.
think and are wired a little differently, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
And
I
now that
could
I
believe. Oh, go ahead.
now that I think of, No Way Home has something that is really nice about that movie. It's a
Mhm.
good starting point for the MCU. If you want to that be the first movie that you show someone, it will get them into the MCU, but it will get them into the old Spider-Man movies too.
That's funny
So
you mentioned that because I
yeah.
can vouch on your point because my girlfriend who saw it, she's seen some of the movies. There's some she hasn't missed, yet she was able to pick up on things. So if you're wondering, is it accessible that someone who doesn't know as well can pick up on it? Yes, because she enjoyed it greatly as well, even with missing context, and that I think is something
Mhm.
that, regardless of how you feel about Endgame as far as the movie as a whole, everyone can agree that it was not accessible. Everyone can
Yeah.
agree. If you're looking at it without your fanboy lenses, it was not an accessible movie. No Way Home does have that advantage of being accessible, and I have the proof and the Belgian chocolate pudding to back it.
This movie is a nerd maker. And that's something that we need, a nerd maker. Something that you can actually use to create more of us.
Yeah, right. And for all we know, this could be a movie that leads that gateway. And I'm glad, like now that I'm gonna have my children know, we're gonna try to catch a few more Spider-Man movies before they watch No Way Home. But it was nice to see them be invested as they were and to finish it and to sit down and pay attention. Like I wasn't sure if it was gonna happen because I
Mhm.
don't try to be that parent that expects it to happen. It's just one of those like I hope for the best. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I can at least live with the fact that I tried, and it was nice to have them invested. It was nice, especially with the last fight between Spider-Man and the Goblin. It was great to see them act the way they did about the intensity of the Goblin. And for me, it brought me back to 19 years ago. So I absolutely just a very surreal moment to think, man, when I watched this movie, I was in
Yeah.
eighth grade. I was in eighth grade when they came out. Now here I am with these two little minions, and I'm showing them this movie. Like it, you want to talk about the ultimate trip
That's
tonight?
crazy.
The last 48 hours, ultimately speaking, has been a trip between seeing No Way Home in theaters and then to now showing them this first ever movie. The whole 48 hours has been a very wild experience, but I'm glad to say I have this experience now. It feels awesome to share this, and I guess you could say pass it down. It really does feel like a passing down, and we can share this and enjoy it together. It's good to see that they're enjoying the genuine Marvel of
Hmm.
what Marvel is. They're gonna see Green Goblin for who he is, Doc Ock for who he is. They're not seeing these token versions of the characters. They're seeing the genuine characters from scratch, what they were, at least an idea of what they were, because obviously we all know Green Goblin didn't look like a Power Ranger, but we can definitely say, okay, Willem Dafoe played a great Norman Osborn that made him believable as the Green Goblin.
That's why
Is
they did
what
a
I'm
nice
trying to
Yeah,
job
get
with
at.
his outfit
Ray.
in this movie. They did
Yeah,
good
Raimi
without giving any
understood
spoilers,
the
but yeah.
characters. He didn't understood the look and feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
was like he wanted to make it really this world ish, and it failed miserably. Let's be honest. That Green Goblin is terrible, and even in the third movie, man, the design for Venom was just hideous.
Oh yeah,
Was
it was
oh man,
ugly.
that was terrible.
But like
So
the goblin worked in this movie without giving away
yeah,
much in terms of what they did with his costume because he's still wearing the armor in the movie, but
uh-huh.
it's not really a spoiler to say he's not wearing the helmet. I don't think so. We know
Oh
he's
yeah,
in the
it's
yeah,
it
but
was
what they
up
did
there.
with the sweatshirt and the hood, like that really looked kind of hobgoblinish. I know, but he did look good. I thought. Plus, Defoe was just.
Mhm.
Did the guy age at
Oh,
all in
he
the
was
last
great.
20 years, or I mean, did they de-age these guys, or
Do
Jesus?
you do you
I mean, he
guys
looked
know
good.
why in the original Raimi movies they removed so much the mask from Spider-Man? It was not because they wanted to sell Tobey Maguire. They actually didn't. They thought it was better to have him with mask. But the mask had an issue that they tried to correct on the MCU with the lenses moving in the mask of Tom Holland because
Mm-hmm.
you cannot emote with the mask. So it's really difficult unless you are a genius like James Earl Jones for Darth Vader to actually show some emotion through that. So they had to take the mask away at every possible moment, even rip it apart. That's why he's ripped apart when he's fighting Doctor Octopus, because they needed a way to show emotions on the face of
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire without just having to deal with the mask. That
Well,
was too.
this movie, it seemed like the masks were off most of the time,
Yeah,
Oh my
right? I
god,
mean,
that
like
was one of my nitpicks.
that was a
I'll say
nitpick,
it.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
But
it
that's
was a
probably
nitpick of
why, right?
mine.
That was probably why, yeah. And then they did get rid of the eyes changing size too, right? In this
They
yeah,
movie, I
I
did.
guess
didn't like that. That part for me,
that was a
that they
Stark
should
Tech, right?
have
Yeah,
kept on every single costume. And yeah, it's a Star Trek, but if you are savvy, you can get a Raspberry Pi Zero, you can get a couple of servos, and you can make something really similar. Not perfectly, but at least Spider-Man will have that functionality and that expressiveness in the eyes. That was
Hmm.
really good on the MCU.
they got rid.
Agreed.
When did they get rid of that? 2 movies ago. When they only had that in one movie, I guess, where his eyes
No,
changed
it
size.
has been a staple up to this movie. I don't
That was
know
this
if
movie.
after
Okay.
this movie it will be
Well,
something
I
that
don't. Well, we
stays.
can't
Yeah.
say. We can't say. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. No. Well, guys, I guess this is gonna be the point where I call it a day now. I mean, it's been good. It's been fun, and we've covered a lot of ground from best of 2021 to old school stuff. We went from the Orville, thank you, Thoth, to freaking me talking about the Last Ronin again. And of course now getting into a little bit of Spider-Man, No Way Home, without going into too much. But this will be that point. We'll wrap it up for the night. So, Mr. Thoth, I will let you be the starter first and foremost. I want to say, hey, thank you for coming on. You have a great Christmas. I will see you hopefully in 3 weeks, if not in 4 weeks. And until our cross paths again, say whatever it is you want to say for your final words.
I want to say thank you to everybody on this panel for letting me take this journey with you. It was awesome. Thank you, Flavor Flaves, for inviting me and letting me be a part of it. Out there in the chat, well done. Thank you very much for tossing us your comments, your laughs, and letting us take this journey with you. And I just wanted to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Be safe, everyone. You do you. Make sure that you stay true to yourself and stay safe out there. It's a time for family and friends, so enjoy it because these times will never come again. So Merry Christmas, everyone, and I will talk to you soon.
All right. You heard the man, guys. Thank you, Mr. Thoth. I will see you soon, sir. Pablo.
Hey, what can I say? It's amazing being here. You guys have given me a lot of support. You have given me a lot of talking about this helps me to keep sane, helps me to just have a smile on my face, and that's good enough. So I want to thank you and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year if we don't talk to that point, and just this has been awesome, man. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me here.
My pleasure, Pablo. It's been a hell of a ride, dude, and we'll be back in several weeks, and we're just gonna make sure we pick up the ball right where we left off, and of course I'll be listening in wherever you may be, whether it's Geek Tropology, Midnight's Edge Espanol, even though I don't know Spanish. I do drop in just to listen at times. I'm a lurker.
Thanks,
So
man.
till then, you have a great Christmas, and we will be rocking again in 2022, sir.
Nice. And chat,
Nice.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas, man. Clobberin!
Well, yeah, buddy. Thanks for having me here. Thank you all for joining us tonight. This has just been a great fellowship and time hanging out with my geek buddies on Friday nights at that Friday night comic talk. And Nicholas, you have been a fantastic friend in the relatively short time that we've all been getting together on YouTube, and I appreciate you. And I wish not only you and yours a wonderful Merry Christmas, but also my good buddy LT, who has been a great pal and other, and we've had a lot of fun hanging and streaming together. I hope we will do a lot more. And we got a Legion talk soon, I hope, buddy. And
I hope so too.
Finrear and Ironcaster, they're gone, but a big shout out to both of them. Merry Christmas to them. And of course, Merry Christmas to you, Pablo. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season with you and your family. And of course, everyone in the chat. Love you all out there. Thank you. And the great Chief Engineer Mark D with a C. He's been one of my best buds over this past short time we've known each other.
Thank you. Same here.
And it's just he's the man, and just what a great group we've made. Friends we would not have met without technology, because if we bumped into each other in a comic shop, we'd all probably hang out. But we just live so far apart, so we were able to meet, and I'm thankful for that we're all able to hang out and create our own little comic shop here. So thank you, Nicholas, for facilitating that. And can't wait to speak to you all soon.
Thank you, Clobberin. I appreciate it. And then last but absolutely not least, Mr. Mark D with a C.
Thank you for those kind words, everyone. Yep, Clobby, LT, Pablo, Nick, and I get an Iron. Yep, if you're watching, I hope Santa brings you a lot of giant robots. And I guess I missed Fenrir, so Merry Christmas. And yeah, as the great Rush Limbaugh would say, dittos to what Clobby and everyone else has said. Yeah, we've made a great group here and great community. It's just a lot of fun hanging out with everyone. And yeah, I wish everyone all the best for the holidays. And one last plug, that Playmobil Enterprise is on sale today. Hopefully it's still on. So it was like $150 off on Amazon. So I just put the link into my video on that. So a little bit enabling maybe you want to give that to your favorite Star Trek fan in your family. But that was on sale for quite a bit off today. Normally it's only 10% off, so I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that. But yeah, I really appreciate being on here today and hanging with you guys. It's thank you for the invite, and it's always a great it's a great time to just sit back and, like Clobby said, we're in a virtual comic shop because this is what we do. Every Wednesday when the books come out, in the old days when my comic book shop in the neighborhood was open, we'd go there and I would go for just a half hour to pick up the books, but sometimes it would turn into 2 or 3 hours.
Yep.
Hanging out in the shop, or or you'd go after leave at work at 5 o'clock, and the missus would be like, "Oh, you were home late tonight." So I would joke with the owner, like, "Why don't you open like a nightclub on Wednesday night? All our geeks we could hang out, and just talk comics." So yeah, this has been a lot of fun, and yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone, Happy New Year, and Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, which I know is past, but Happy Hanukkah as well to everyone out there. So everyone have a great time enjoying and celebrate, being with family, because unfortunately I know things are, seem like they're shutting down again, but hopefully everyone's able to get together and, have a great time with your family, because that's family and friends. That's what's important. As much as we love all this junk and stuff, and at the end of the day, it's being with family and friends, and those are the memories that you really cherish. So everyone have a great holiday, and thanks again.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. I guess I'll close out me and to the chat. I mean, Christian, dude, I was absolutely insane with the 50, like those. I'm in debt to you eternally. And TZ for the 10, Philbo for the 10 as well. Thank you guys. And to the chat, D Bud, Matthew Pounder, Rudy, David Serda, Sherry dropped by earlier, like Courtney as well, RB Dog, DJ B2. There's a Dart Scipio, like I'm Dragon Master, Awesome One, Raquel SSG. So many people dropped by, and there's so many I'm missing. I'm sorry, but it's just a lot of you dropped by, a lot of you stuck around. Thank you, I appreciate it. We'll be back in 3 weeks for the Comic Shop Talk, because obvious holidays are happening. You guys have a great Christmas. Thank you, Philbo. I appreciate. I can't wait to get your stuff in the mail. I cannot wait. I'm excited about that. This Tuesday night on Toxic Tuesday, if you guys have not somehow caught on to the pattern, we will be talking about the very first Die Hard Toxic Tuesday. We're putting out the stops for this one. We'll have Comics Division on. We'll have Tom Connors on as well, and a few other heavy hitters as well. This is gonna be like putting out all the stops, Clash of the Titans type of panel. So I put out all the stops for this one. So please tune in, because there'll just be some Toxic Tuesday and no Comic Shop Talk until early January. And Rudy, you're the one that rules. Me, I'm just a guy who's drinking alcohol and hang out with my guys. I'm the loud guy at the comic shop who that they got to maintain the volume about. That's my role in all this. But thank you to the chat. Thank you for your endless support. I will see you all on Toxic Tuesday, or in many chats, or I will see you next year. All right. Good night. Good fight until our paths cross.